CEO, wanna change your life? Come see me, yo. I'ma teach you how to build up wealth for your family, not just for yourself. I'm a bestseller, a house flipper, a businesswoman, a go-getter, a big investor, a goal builder that could teach you to get richer like millions, baby. You really about to fill your savings. You about to have multiple streams to pass your children, baby. Let me teach you to get your credit on track in the long run. You'll make it all back at Catalyst and watch it all psychology black on firm, but we ain't all black.
What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up, good people? Happy Monday. Listen, y'all know I got, every time I come live, I got to do some crazy stuff on Facebook to make sure that y'all can see me on Facebook. Here we go. I changed the audience. It automatically locks. I don't know. Something going on with this StreamYard, but hold on. Look, you can hear, you can make sure that y'all can see me on Facebook. All right. Here we go. Change the audience. What's up, everybody? Y'all come on in, my friends. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy that my friends are already here. And it's the Grow Your Money podcast, where I help you to learn how to grow your money and not blow your money. You know, every time I come live, I always want to give you something that you could chew on, that you could think about, that you could learn from, that you could, most importantly, grow from. I'm telling you, I need to be a rapper right now. Why is this coaching with Dr. Leisha on here? I need to be a rapper right now because your girl got straight bars. Let me put this other. All right. Fly Nubian Money. All right. So listen, y'all, I had a really great weekend and I'm so refreshed. I had some really good sleep. I hibernated yesterday. What did y'all do? What did you guys do this weekend? I did the Bring Your Idea to Life training on Saturday and on Sunday, and it was all day on Saturday and on Sunday. This thing right here. And it turned out to be absolutely amazing. For those of you who were there, we had some really great feedback, and it was just really powerful. And I think we had some breakthroughs and some transformation, I would say so myself. In fact, let me show you. I think I got a little bit of a quick testimonial.
Hi, I must say that this training has been an absolute blessing to me. Constance has made me awake in ways that I never thought. She has pulled out things for me that I didn't want to be pulled out. I think she has, even though she doesn't say it's a gift, I think she has a gift whereas she can see something in us that we may not be able to see in ourselves. And she doesn't stop until she pulls it out of you. She wants the best, I believe, in her teaching. And I think she makes sure that you don't settle for less than the best. When she comes with her all, and you can genuinely feel her sincerity and her speaking to you and her teaching you. And she wants you to not just accept for mediocre. I thank her for making me see that, yes, my business vision is possible. The sky is the limit. And if my mind is made up, then what's stopping me? Nothing can stop me other than Linda. If God is with me, who can be against me? I am determined to make my business flourish and be what it should be. And it's all because Constance was willing to take the time to have this training. I can even take it again. I am so elated and excited about what she has done for me as a person. It is the best workshop I've ever been to. And I thank her for being determined to pull out of us what she knew that's in us because of what's in her and because of where she has been. So because of her journey, I am now here able to sit and speak with her and look to be a better person on my journey and to help somebody else along the way. Thank you, Constance. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you.
That was beautiful. And if Linda, if you're watching, shout out to you and all the other amazing people, lovely JR, that's always here, that were at the training on Saturday and Sunday. It was jam-packed. It was really intensive. When I tell you, y'all, I'm an introvert. I like to fold my legs when I'm at my desk and get comfortable. I'm an introvert. And so when you're an introvert like me, when you speak, it's like, I love speaking. I love public speaking. But when you speak, it takes everything out of you. So some people who are they're energized by, things like that. Like, so when I used to travel with Lisa Nichols and she would speak, since she's an extrovert, and she would get like energy from the audience. And I'd be like, we be, you know, we could be somewhere in Turks and Caicos, and she's up to the wee hours of the morning, and I'd be like, girl, go to sleep. She's a vampire, but she would get energized from whatever happened, whatever she was able to pour into people. So for me, since I'm an introvert, when I pour into people, it takes from me. I don't get the energy from the outside. It has to pull from within, and then I hibernate. So I had a really good nap yesterday after the training, but it was magical. And so for you all, I'm going to do another free webinar on this Friday because I believe that more people need to have access and opportunity. So I have another training. So instead of coming on here at the same time, I'm going to do a free webinar for Think, Build, and Monetize, so I can show you how to identify your unique expertise and monetize your knowledge. I can show you how to build the exact framework to create your business, your brand, and show you how to monetize and create income. So you don't want to miss this. I decided that after that, I wanted to do it again. For those who missed it, I want to do, and it's free. It's absolutely free. You go to thinkbuildmonetize.com and you can sign up for it. And it's absolutely free. It'll be right here on this platform, but you have to sign up in order to view it, in order to be a part of it, because it's not going to be for the public. So it's going to be only for those who sign up for the training. So go to thinkbuildmonetize.com so that you can get, so that you can sign up for it. I'll talk about it again at the end, but thinkbuildmonetize.com. But it was amazing. But I see y'all had some amazing weekends. Who was that? Somebody said they had a birthday. So congratulations on your birthday. I don't even know who that was. Lovely JR, shout out to you. She attended the workshop, and I tell you, when the first day, she didn't have an idea of what her business was. She didn't know what her business was. And then but then I also trained them to speak and articulate their business so that they could sell it. And when she articulated that business, it was mind blowing. So some folks who weren't there on the first day ended up being there on the second day. And when they heard them articulate their value propositions for their business, they were like, oh my God, like these people are so far advanced. And I'm like, no, they were actually at the beginning, just like you, but we went through it. I helped coach them and train them through how to really articulate their vision. And when I tell you, it was mind blowing. And lovely JR was one of those special people who was in the class and who was able to really articulate her value. And I was blown away just by that. So it was awesome. So congratulations to all the people who attended. But I got a little ahead of myself. I always love to shout people out where they're watching from. So where are you watching from? I'm in the DMV. I'm hailing from the DMV. And guess what? It is almost outside season, y'all. I have been in the house on the couch for the last few months. And it's been amazing. I'm going to tell you that. Since I moved in, I'm like, I don't think I want to go outside no more. But guess what? It's outside season. I was on FaceTime with my middle son yesterday, and he was going back. They spent 3 of my kids spent the spring break with their father, and so he was going back to school yesterday. And he was like, I said, "Are you good? I mean, what are you going to get ready to do?" He was like, "It's Darty season. Darty for you old people like me. It's day party. It's Darty season." And so I was like, "Oh, that's right. I'm about to be outside. It's Darty season." And if you would have seen the way that little boy rolled his eyes at me, he did like this. I mean, the strength in which he rolled his eyes at me, because I said I was about to be outside for Darty season too. Here's the reason why I'm gonna be outside for Darty season, because my ass be asleep at 10 o'clock at night. So a day party is perfect. It's absolutely perfect for me. Like going to an evening party, my ass gonna be. I was everywhere. When I first came out here, I was at every event, and just trying to get a lay of the land, meeting people, networking with people. But I literally, legit, I would say at least a minimum of 3 times, I was at an event in the corner sleeping. I'm the old chick in the corner trying to hey. I was at I don't know if you guys know who Raheem Devon is, but we interviewed him a few years ago, and I was at one of his concerts, and I was basically on stage sleep until Raheem came out. That's when I woke up. All right, yeah. Literally, I'm on stage, and people were looking at me like, "Is this lady on heroin or what?" It's late. It was crazy. So I'm so glad that it's now daylight savings time. It's darty season for those who like to be outside like me. It's day party season. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited about all the things that are getting ready to come up. I'm just excited about all the things that I've been working on for you guys too. I've been working on a lot of stuff that I think is going to be impactful. So I just, I've been in the lab, y'all. I've been working, and I was just talking to Boyce about this. Like, we have been, like, our hustle, we match, our hustles match. He being in the lab from sun up to sundown. I be in the lab from sun up to sundown. And we're just always trying to figure out how we can provide great value to you all. And so that's pretty much what I've been doing, is just out there, just trying to figure out what can I bring to you that's going to provide great value. And Grow Your Money Club is actually one of them. But I always definitely love to shout out Black-owned businesses. And one of the things that I told the ladies and gentlemen in the Bring Your Idea to Life training is, even if your business isn't all the way together, I still want to shout you out on the platform. You have an idea, you have a business that's getting ready to come. I want you to already speak it into existence, and I want you to put it in the comments. So I already know Miss Sunshine Diaz, she has Victory Village Wellness Center in Oklahoma City. If you are in or around Oklahoma City, then please make sure that you support this Black-owned business. I also think she said that she was at a women's prison this month. She does laser lipo, M-sculpt, sauna detox, all these things. So this is for your wellness. She does this, and she's in Oklahoma City. So if you're in or around, and she also travels from state to state, she said, helping people. So if you have a Black-owned business, make sure you put it in the comments. Also, you guys know that, the information I give here, like I said, I'm always trying to give you something that you can learn and grow from. Make sure you share, subscribe, please. If you're watching from Dr. Boyce's platform, make sure you follow me as well. Make sure you follow Constance Carter. Wait, it's my, let me see. Are all my platforms on? Let me just see real quick. Oh, you know what? One of them isn't on. Oh, I'm missing one. Make sure you follow. Wait, hold on. Let me add that one to the stream. So I'm on like 8 different platforms. And so if you're on any of those platforms, make sure you go and follow Constance Carter as well. And make sure you subscribe to Fly Nubian Queen, because I'm on Fly Nubian Queen. I'm on Constance Carter. So you can go, you can see me, you can follow me everywhere. I am Constance Carter, whether it's on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, or whatever. All right. So let's get into it. Let's talk about what we're talking about. Okay. So listen, I want to first shout all of you guys out who have been steady and consistent on the Target boycott. I want you guys to give yourself a pat on the back if you have been able to manage to maintain this boycott, y'all. Let me tell you something. There were a few times that I needed to go to Target, and I made sure, and I didn't. Like, I just didn't. And so I created alternative ways. If they say that Black people don't have power, guess what? Black people have power. We have $2 trillion in spending power. Target's boycott, it's working. Sales are down, the stock has dropped, and the corporations are struggling to figure out what to do. Okay? The other thing is consumer spending is down everywhere. With these tariffs and the tariff wars and all the things that this crazy lunatic in office is doing, people are not spending money like they used to. What does that mean for you? We're going to talk about it. We're going to get into it. And Tesla is losing fast. The stock is dropping, and Elon Musk, while he is stripping the federal government of all the departments, guess what's also stripping? Teslas. Now, that's good news and bad news, because for me, who has a Tesla, I still have my Tesla, y'all. My lease was up last month. However, my raggedy ass kids put some dents in them when they were parking. So I got to get the dents fixed so I could turn it in. But shit, every time and like I told you guys before, I've leased cars for the last 10 years. And every time I turn in my cars, I always have equity in my cars. So I always get a little bit of money back. The problem I'm seeing here is, for me and for the other people who have Teslas, is there's no value. There's not going to be any trade in value. So that's what I'm afraid of. And what does that mean for me? Now, I can cheer that this is happening to this man because of all the horrifying things that he's doing. But for me, it's not a good thing. And for other Tesla owners, it's not a good thing. Our value's dropping. And if you own Tesla stock, that's dropping too. And Elon Musk's empire is taking a major hit. And yo, did y'all see Donnie, his new role as babysitter in chief? Let me see the picture. Man is babysitting Elon's. Y'all see that? He babysitting Elon's child. What is it? It is awfully strange. It is awfully strange that everything that's happening. Of course, you know, there is a certain level of decorum and order that things typically happen in the White House. And these are things that we just have never seen before. Is this a new era? Is this something that's new? Is it acceptable? Because y'all remember when they had a whole meltdown when this fine young specimen wore a tan suit. There was a whole meltdown. You remember that? And all of a sudden, this man over here babysitting kids that's telling them to shut up. This little boy told him to shush. Y'all remember that? Look, he said shush.
From one year to the next are the same, and they're partnership with the agency heads, and I check frequently with the president to make sure that these.
Donald Trump is the babysitter in chief. That's what they said. That's what they're saying. He's a babysitter in chief. This is all very weird. And Brian, you're probably right. He will snap back. You know why? Because Elon Musk, while he's stripping all the other contracts for people of color and they're dismantling DEI and all of these things that are helping people to get these government contracts, Elon Musk's company have secured substantial government contracts in 2025 since the inauguration. As of February 11th, SpaceX holds approximately $22 billion in government contracts, with around $15 billion attributed to NASA. Over the past 2 decades, his enterprises have benefited from over $38 billion in government contracts, with Tesla receiving $15.7 billion and SpaceX receiving $22.6 billion. So you're right. He is the rubber band man, Brian Shanklin. He will snap back at the benefit of or at the expense of the federal government, while he's stripping everybody else from government contracts, firing government employees, getting rid of government departments. He's getting billions of dollars in government contracts. Does that seem fair? The person who's benefiting from government contracts is actually auditing the federal government and getting access to all this information. And y'all are saying, well, not y'all. A lot of these Republicans or supporters are saying, yeah, this is what we need. We need a third party to come in and audit. But do we need a person who is benefiting, who has a vested interest in getting money? There is a conflict of interest here. So wait, put that back up. He's also what? He's also helping what? He's also going to help redo the subway systems and the high-speed rail. Okay, that's cool. Siemens does high-speed rails and subway systems as well. But why is Elon Musk getting these contracts? There are other companies that do the same type of work, but why is Elon Musk the benefactor of that? It sounds like collusion. It sounds like corruption. Kim Jones said, if 47 has never valued adequate decency and order, he has bought with the Tesla money. He was bought, yes. So now he's got to bend over with no Vaseline. He got to bend over. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, think about the absurdity of this. This man got to babysit this kid. Like, what? The level of respect. The level of respect. Like, you got to do whatever the hell I say. That includes babysitting. And we know he's not babysitting, but you got to carry around my son. Like, this lets you know. This is probably Elon's way of letting you know who's really in charge. Cause Donald Trump don't be around there with his own kids. You've never seen him anywhere when his kids were small, him taking his kids around in business meetings or anything else. But yet, you see him having Elon. That lets you know who bought and paid for this presidency. And Donald Trump He knows where his bread is being buttered. Okay? So listen, let me tell you something. Stock is down over 17% over the last 6 weeks since the boycott started. So it started at $142 and $142.50 per share, price per share. And over the last several years, stock has gone up for Target. They've lost $12.4 billion valuation in the market. So yes, your green doesn't matter. Remember when the Montgomery bus boycotts happened, civil rights didn't change because of them marching and them getting bit up by dogs and them sitting at lunch counters. We didn't see real change until they stopped taking them goddamn buses. And as soon as they stopped taking them buses, and they did it for a year, this has only been 6 weeks, and we see what's happening to Target, and we see what's happening to the market. We are consumer class. Yes, we are. Black people, we are consumers. We have $2 trillion in spending power, and we spend it. We spend the shit out of our money. But now we are more cognizant of where we're putting our money. And that's because you guys are tuned in, and you guys are information. We are all information, and we are doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing. People are spending their money differently. What does this mean for you? If you are a business owner, you need to pay attention to consumer behavior. People are being intentional. So if you're an investor, watch how corporations respond to social and political pressure. It affects the stock performance. So they think that they can play in your face, and they think they can say F you. Now we know, y'all all know, and we said it till our faces turn blue, DEI does not benefit Black people. We are not the biggest benefactors. But by them rolling it back, what they were saying to you is a big F you. They were saying F you to you, Black people. They were saying we don't support you. DEI in Target was implemented after George Floyd. It was a vanity project. They never cared about doing business with Black people. They only wanted to appear because it was politically correct to do it. But as soon as, just like how when Black people, when we did no longer have to spend money with each other, we stopped spending money with each other, right? When we had segregation and we had to spend money with each other, what would happen? Our dollar circulated in our community over a year because we had to. The moment that we had to stop spending money with each other, we stopped. Now the dollar circulates in our community 6 hours. Because we believe the white man's ice is colder. We believe their services are better. It's bullshit. And then we say, oh, I don't do business. And people say it with pride. I believe Brian Shanklin is probably one of the people that say, I don't do business with Black-owned businesses. I believe you are one of those people who will say some shit like that. I've run across people a lot in the past. Not so much no more because it's not really in fashion. But you know, the powers that be have done a mother effing number on us to make us have so much self-hatred. But y'all, the blinders are being taken off, my friends. We no longer, I don't hear that rhetoric like I used to. Do you? You hear people say I don't do business with black businesses? Because you will get slapped upside the face, or somebody will look at you like you are stuck on stupid, or you are the Uncle Tom or sellout as you are if you say some dumb shit like that in 2025. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I have said this to a church full of church-going people. I said this. I was speaking at a church one day, and I said, raise your hand if you've ever said that I don't. I said, how many of you ever heard people say they don't do business with Black-owned companies? A lot of people raise their hands. And I said, how many of you have ever said you don't do business with Black-owned businesses? Raise your hand. They raise your hand. I said, now take that same hand and slap yourself upside the head with it. Because that's the dumbest thing. I didn't say shit. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. That's the most self-hatingest, brainwashed thinking that you could ever have by saying I don't do business with people that look like me. But now it is a new day, and we are redirecting our spending because we got $2 trillion. If we were a country, we will be number 8. We will be the 8th largest country in the world based upon our spending. So now that we have been intentional about how we spend our money, now that we are very cognizant about how we're spending our money, now we need to we need to focus it on Black-owned businesses. As investors, we need to look at how these companies are reacting to the spending. but also our communities, y'all. Also our schools, investing in things that matter. They are dismantling the Department of Education. I'm sorry to say the Department of Education was all the way effed up. It was. I don't want to say that I'm not mad at it because there needed to be an overhaul, because we've adopted the thinking of a lot of these liberals, right? And we're mad at the Department of Education being dismantled. But you got to look at this. How are our children being educated? How are our children? When you had urban decay, you had white flight. You had white flight, which caused urban decay, which caused all the local economies to be closed, right? To be down. Now, you know that schools are funded by taxpayer dollars on the local level. So if the tax bases are lower, then you have less money going to these schools. They spend $32 billion more on white schools than they do on black schools. $32 billion. So when you have these colleges accepting these children and you have black people not scoring as their white counterparts, it's not because they're dumber. It's just because they have access to more resources. White children do. That's the cause and effect. And then when they say no affirmative action, no DEI, we don't want them in our schools because they can't pass the test, it's because of the primary education. It's because what they're receiving. So when you have the Department of Education being dismantled, there needs to be some kind of overhaul, because our kids were being suspended at a higher rate than anybody else's. Our kids were being victimized at a higher rate than anybody else's. You have two kids, you have a black kid and a white kid, and they do the exact same thing, just like with the criminal justice system. Their penalties are going to be harsher. That's happening at the elementary school level. And then they build prisons based upon black children's third grade. So they're building prisons based upon what's happening in the education system. So there needs to be an overhaul. I'm not mad at it. I'm not taking on the liberal talking points when it comes to the Department of Education. My question is, what are we going to do and how are we going to educate ourselves? Now, we pissed off about them taking Black history out of the schools. I don't give a damn, because they wasn't even teaching the right Black history anyway. What we are seeing is more people speaking real Black history. We're seeing that on a bigger scale. Our kids are learning more from TikTok than they're learning from the schools anyway. So I don't care. I don't want them to teach me this fake white supremacy history, because what did we learn in history? We learned that Blacks were inferior. We learned that Blacks were enslaved. We learned that Blacks had struggles. We learned about civil rights. We didn't learn anything else. We didn't learn about Mansa Musa being the wealthiest man that ever lived. That when he traveled, he gave the Egyptians so much money, he killed their local economy for 10 years. This is a Black man. We didn't learn about all the Black inventors that were out there that were inventing things that were stolen, patents stolen from them, given to white people. You know, Thomas Latimer, who actually invented the light bulb. The Garrett Morgan, who actually helped with the stoplight and the yellow light, and had other inventions. We don't hear about those people. We hear about Thomas Edison. We hear about all these other great inventors. That's what they're teaching in school. So fuck what they talking about. I don't care if they don't teach this whack ass, wrong ass history in school. We need to be teaching our own children. But again, what do we do, y'all? What do we do now that they're dismantling these things? So now we've redirected our money from Target and spending and all that stuff. But what are we doing with everything else? How are we spending our money? And I really want you to think about this. But before we get into it, I want to just introduce you to the Grow Your Money Club, because that's me educating you. What is it that I can do to pour into you so that you can enhance your skill set? I got the Grow Your Money Club. This is something that I'm doing and my give back to you. If you want to learn how to build your own credit and become a certified credit expert, I got you. If you want to learn how to write your book and become a best-selling author, I absolutely got you. If you want to learn how to build your business, get business credit so that you can get funding, you know I got you. And if you want to learn how to invest in real estate, stock, and generate multiple revenue streams, this is all inside the Grow Your Money Club. This is a 12-month comprehensive training that helps take you from working for your money to having your money work for you.
The reality is having multiple revenue streams is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity. And you need to learn how to go from just existing to actually living. In this political climate, there are so many unknowns. But the one thing that's for sure is what you know. So the more you know, the more you can grow. You need to join the Grow Your Money Club so that you can learn how to grow your money and not blow your money.
Let me tell you something. The reason why you hated history is because they wasn't teaching the real history. That shit that they was teaching in schools was not the real history. So don't let them take away that history. I don't care. Take that shit away. But guess what? They can't take away the truth, because you know what? What's my favorite saying? What's my favorite saying, y'all? They done fucked around and gave us the internet. We got everything we need in the palm of our hands. We got more information, more power, more technology in the palm of our hands than they had when they put the man on the moon. So again, I'll tell y'all this every single time, y'all. They've underestimated us. They have. They've underestimated us. And that's okay. They think that when they playing in our faces and, oh yeah, we don't give a damn about them, because first of all, they're white fragility. I seen somebody said, I seen on a post that said DEI didn't earn it. Y'all motherfuckers ain't earned shit for the last 400 years. You have gotten advancements simply because you were white and you were a man. And the moment you got some competition, you start crying. The moment somebody smarter came in that because they got an opportunity, because you got opportunities for years, the moment somebody else got an opportunity is when it became a problem, because now it's competition for you. Now they're getting advancement because they earn it and they deserve it. Trust me, Black people ain't getting advancements and promotions because we Black. We're getting in the door because of DEI. Sometimes, again, remember, the white women are the biggest benefactors. We're getting in the door. We still got to perform, y'all. We still got to perform. So the only way that and they're going to do everything they can to stop us from performing, right? But we got to, of course, as Black folks, work harder, run faster, jump higher, just to be in the game. We know as Black people, and it is exhausting, but hey, that's who we are. We're excellence. We are excellence in action. We got to be excellent to be good. We can't be good because that's only average. And average is just mediocre. We can't just come in there haphazardly. We got to perform like this just to be considered here. And we're only getting 70% of our white counterpart's salary for the same position. And you say we didn't deserve. It's okay. It's okay. Because in 30 years, y'all going to be damn near extinct anyway. And that's the whole problem, right? They're afraid of the browning of America. They are absolutely afraid of the browning of America. They know that their birth rates are low. They know that white women are getting abortions at high rates. They know that they're not making babies like we are. That's the reason why you had eugenics. Eugenics in the early 1900s was when they were sterilizing Black women. And that's why that was the birth of Planned Parenthood. They were putting Planned Parenthood. And if you look now, 70% of the Planned Parenthoods are in Black communities. Why? Because they want you to abort your babies. Now, this is not some liberal or conservative agenda. That's just the reality. They want you to abort your babies. They don't want you to have babies. They don't want there to be more Black people, because if it is, then they lose their majority status. But that's what's happening. That's why they're deporting Hispanic people. That's why they're offering white South Africans, Afrikaners, citizenship here. And they're probably going to give them free land too. That's why they're not closing any borders anywhere else but places where there are people of color. That's the reason why. They know that their time is up. Their days are numbered. That's the reason why they're doing all of this, y'all. Yes. So listen, y'all keep doing what you're doing. Stay empowered. Keep not spending. Now, spending is down everywhere. I seen something on CNN today. I seen a headline on CNN today, and where is it at? It's right here. Spending is down everywhere. Retailers are sounding the alarm. Move this banner. Weak consumer spending figures are adding to concerns the U.S. may be heading into a recession as Trump's tariffs policies create chaos and worry. So it's not only affecting the stock market, but it's affecting spending, which what? Affects the economy. Now this man is in here threatening, I'm gonna hike yours 300%, I'm gonna do this, and then when they start jumping back, what did he say last week to Canada? He's a very, very tough guy, and he decided that he's not gonna do his electricity tariff, put that tariff on electricity, because your Secretary of Commerce called him, begging him not to. You could do all that, you could talk all that shit, you could talk tough all you want to, but when the rubber meets the road, it's like a bully. Like a bully, like walking around like this, like they finna beat everybody up. Soon as somebody jump back, that's exactly what Trump is. He's that bully around there doing this, trying to wield his power. And as soon as somebody talks back to him, remember what the governor of Maine said? He asked all the states, "Are you going to comply? Are you going to comply?" The governor of Maine said no. He said, "Okay, then we won't be sending you no federal funds." And she said, "Okay, well then we won't be sending our funds to the federal government." This is the kind of talk tough that we need. This is the type of pushback that we need. And oh, by the way, y'all, listen, wait, where is it at? Where is it? I seen the dumbest tweet. I know y'all seen it. I put it on my Facebook page. I seen the dumbest tweet from somebody in Congress. Look at this. Todd Starnes said, Jasmine Crockett wants you to think she's from the hood, that she grew up on the streets. The exact opposite is true. She attended an exclusive day school where tuition is nearly $35,000 per year. She also attended Rhodes College, a private school where tuition is nearly $55,000 per year. She's cosplaying gangsta. Now, who the fuck said that Jasmine Crockett was gangsta? Who the fuck said that she was impoverished or in poverty? That right there. See, this is what they say, the caucasity. We never thought she was gangster. We never thought she was from the hood. But because she's black and she's unapologetically black, that is synonymous with being from, that is the most asinine shit I've ever heard in my life. This is how they simplify y'all, black people. This is what they do to simplify y'all. They think we are all from the hood. I don't know if y'all remember that story. I had mentioned it when Tiara was on here with me. Tiara will be back tomorrow, by the way. My neighbor, she says to me, she calls me one day. This is when I was still in California. Now, lived in this affluent neighborhood, and we were the only black people there. She had rented her house to a black couple. And they were there about a year, and I guess their lease was up and they were getting ready to move. She calls me. She goes, I'm going to have lunch with these people tonight. Dinner with these people tonight. And I want to sell them the house, but I don't think they can afford it. So, she knows I own a mortgage company. And so she said, can you, help me get them approved or see what we can do to try to help them? I said, okay, cool. So she goes to dinner with them. And then the next day, I called her, she calls me, and I said, oh, how'd your dinner go? And she goes, I don't want to talk about it. It didn't go that well. And I'm like, why? What happened? And she starts telling me about the conversation. And I guess they got offended because she made the assumption that they didn't have the money. And so her response was, is this Black Lives Matter thing? Right? And they were like, huh? So I'm sitting there listening in shock that she's saying this. And so they said, you don't know our village. They don't know what we have. She made the assumption that they didn't have no money. You don't know what we got. You don't know who our village is. So they were offended. Like, even if they didn't want to buy this house, they were like, fuck you. I don't want to buy this house now. Oh, by the way. So then she says to them, this is what she said. She said to them, I hope she didn't for her sake, but it's what she told me. She said to them, the same soup kitchen you were in, I was in. The same welfare line you were in, I was in. I said, how do you know that they were on welfare and they stood in the soup kitchen line? And she was like, huh? How do you know that these people are on welfare like they came from poverty? She was like, what? She was so confused because she automatically assumed that these people were impoverished. They came from poverty. And I'm like, I live next door to you. By the way, my house is twice the size as hers. What do you think of me? I didn't come from the ghetto. I didn't come from hood. I didn't come from poverty. Like I didn't come from wealth, but I didn't come from that. Like my two-parent household. Fuck. And it wasn't until then that she was just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like I didn't know. This is the assumption that they think that because we're Black, we're automatically from the hood. We are automatically come from impoverished circumstances and situations. So she automatically thought that. And again, my house was twice the size of hers. So you must think I come from poverty too. This is what I asked her. She said, no, of course not. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. She wasn't going to tell me that, but yes, she did. This is what they think of us. So the idea that we have to be from the hood is just absolutely absurd. And again, that's part of their thought process of what they think of you. They don't think you have any power, and that's the reason why they do what they do. They've been so successful at brainwashing us, after slavery. Yes, Kim, they think everybody came for Good Times. That's all they know. Good Times was our favorite show. It was my favorite show. I remember my cousin said, I hate that show because they can't seem to get out the ghetto. We were kids. And I'm like, this is a funny show. But she had the foresight and the wherewithal to think like, this is not progressive. Now that we look at it, we see that that's not progressive, right? But that's not all of our experience. It's the Good Times experience. And the fact that this is what they think of us. So again, they've underestimated us. That because they've been successful at brainwashing us. Again, after slavery, what did they do? They said, we're going to give you 40 acres and a mule. Then they turned around and said, no, we're not. We're not going to give you 40 acres and a mule. In fact, we're going to give the slave owners who lost the war, who lost the Civil War, we're going to give them the land. And then we're going to turn around and give 42 million acres of land to white people with the Homestead Act of 1862. Yeah, we're going to give it to them. We don't give it to you. Okay, pull yourself up by your bootstraps while we give everybody else an advantage. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. So we do. Start building communities. We start, circulating our own dollar in our community. We building businesses. We building communities. We're in office, have political control of our own communities. And what do? The massacre of Wilmington, North Carolina. They came and they burned that city down. And it was the only coup d'etat where they overthrew the local government, white supremacists, burned down the town of these affluent community because they were jealous. Y'all leave us alone. And we all know what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in Greenwood. Not only did they burn it down, but the federal government sent bombs and bombed it. They don't want us to get no advancement. So then they've had the smear campaign even after that, right? So then they our Black leaders rise of the Black Messiah. Well, J. Edgar Hoover said the biggest threat to America was Negro unity, right? So then he kills Fred Hampton. They're afraid they have this fear of the rise of the Black Messiah. They kill Malcolm X. They kill Martin Luther King. And then they successfully, and this is all documented. If y'all don't know, I need y'all to read your history. They put drugs in our community. COINTELPRO. Put drugs in our community. Now we're giving our people drugs. So now the people, you put us in these impoverished conditions because when Black people came into these communities, now you take the local economies out. So now you have urban decay from white flight. So now in these communities, you push drugs in there. And then all of a sudden, now they have access to machine guns. Are they manufacturing machine guns in the hood? No, but they have machine guns. So now they're killing each other. Now the Ku Klux Klan don't have to do it. Y'all know in the summer of 1919, the Red Summer was the deadliest summer in the country, where they were hanging Black people all across the country. Well, all they had to do was give us guns. We could do their dirty work. They no longer had to, Now it's not a public what is that? A public not a public affairs, but it's not that nightmare like y'all know what I'm trying to say. Now the rest of the world doesn't see the United States as the big bad wolf because they're killing their citizens. Citizens are killing each other, and we're going to blast it all over the place so everybody throughout the world can know that in these concentrated areas where Black people are killing each other because you push drugs in our community, we're going to make it seem like it's widespread. That's why they think that we're all from the hood. That's why they think that we all think this certain way. That's why they think we're a monolith, because they push it in our communities and they hide their hands and they say, watch them go. That's why I'm telling you this, because I'm saying it's a new day. They're afraid that they are losing their power. Slowly but surely, they're losing their power. So while this may be a silent recession right now, this is good, because this should have us thinking what we need to do different. Tesla stock, I told y'all, Tesla stock is falling. That's a good thing and a bad thing, right? It's a good thing, because when I go to the Tesla, when I go to the charging station, I'm in Prince George's County, Maryland. I'm in the DMV, all black. It's 10 charging stations. Ain't nothing but Black people here. We all got these goddamn Teslas. And I am so embarrassed to drive in a Tesla. I hate it. I hate driving in a Tesla. I hate it. I've hated Elon Musk since I heard him say DEI must DIE. That was last year. I bought the Tesla because I don't like driving. And I was getting ready. I had to choose. Do you hire a driver? And I was seriously considering that. Or do I get a Tesla and have it drive for me? And so my son ordered me a Tesla. And that's what now I'm stuck. But a lot of Black people, especially out here, and I know probably in other places, have Teslas. Now we're stuck. And if you have Tesla stock, I told y'all last year to get rid of that Tesla stock, and people were like, nah, sis, you tell them to do the wrong thing. They can make money in Tesla. The thing about it is if we pull our money, he's not going to make money. Let's put it into other things that's going to make us money. But as long as we have our money in Tesla stock, I never, and it's plastic. It is so cheap, Cousin Dro. That goddamn Tesla, oh my God, it's falling apart. Like I sat down and anyway, it's made of plastic. But I told you the Tesla, the reason why I can't sell the Tesla is because it's a lease, and I'm sure it's lost its value. I bought it in 2020. I bought it in 2021, and my lease is up and it has no value. And I hate it for myself. I do. And while I'm seeing y'all, my payment is damn near $900. And while I'm seeing these Teslas, because now they the value brand people, they said the Tesla payments is like $300 now. I hate that shit. So y'all sell your Tesla stock. Sell your Tesla stock and buy and put your money into something else, because there's other electric vehicles that are out there that are better. If you're a long-term investor and you believe in electric vehicles, this might be a buying opportunity for you to rebalance your portfolio. But do your research before making a move, okay? There was something that I wanted to show you. What was the other thing I wanted to show y'all? I talk so much. Let me do this real quick, because I need to show you a little bit more about the Grow Your Money Club, just in case you don't know. Have you joined the Grow Your Money Club yet? If not, why not? The Grow Your Money Club is a comprehensive program designed to take you through the complete wealth building journey. We don't just offer random courses, we guide you along a clear path, starting with fixing your credit and becoming a certified credit expert, to building your business, increasing your cash flow, diversifying your portfolio, and ultimately letting your money work for you. With over 30 trainings designed to increase your net worth, you get to either purchase the trainings individually or go through the 12-month roadmap. Here are just a few of the courses. From campus to cash flows, this is teaching your children to become real estate investors. The Wealth Map training shows you how to eliminate your debt, increase your credit, and diversify your revenue. You can learn to write your book using ChatGPT. Learn how to build your online community. What about 8 ways to make money using AI? Oh, and here's 7 online revenue streams to fund your $1 million dream. How about learning how to purchase tax deeds or land banks? What about getting started in government contracting? If you're a rookie, the Real Estate for Rookies training has everything you need. The Business Blueprint training will help you build your business foundation, get business credit, get business funding, and learn how to pay yourself so that you can scale your business to the next level. Or perhaps you want to create jaw-dropping video content using CapCut, Midjourney, and ChatGPT. There are so many trainings and master classes within the Grow Your Money Club, and I also drop 1 new training per month. You do not want to miss out on this opportunity to invest in yourself, because guess what? You are your biggest commodity. You are your biggest investment. Join the Grow Your Money Club today. Y'all, I'm looking at your comments. I was looking at your comments. Okay, wait. Let me go back. Grow Your Money Club. It's $97 per month. You get the first 7 days for free. So you can go test drive it. Go to the Grow Your Money. Go to growyourmoney.club. First 7 days free. The reason why I don't have a problem in giving you 7 days free is because I have so much training in there I think will be invaluable to you, that I believe that once you start this training, you're going to be like, oh shit, I want to keep this training. So I don't have a problem giving you 7 days free training. 7 days free, because you ain't going to want to turn it off after that. So go ahead and test it out. You get 7 days in the Grow Your Money Club. And I have over 30 plus trainings in there right now. And I drop one new training a month. And it's going to be something that's going to be impacting your life. Y'all, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at your comments. And Deborah Will Win said, whites in power are doing what they have always done until they destroy themselves. Somebody said something about lying. Y'all did some good comments in here. I always want to spend with Black businesses, but in a lot of cases, I'm treated poorly as a customer by my own. I was shot with those who value my business and treat me as they would other races. That's interesting that you say that. Here's what I say about that. Again, I'm always do business with Black-owned businesses first. Now, all Black-owned businesses aren't equal. And you can't paint Black-owned businesses with a broad brush. A lot of times people will say, I don't do business with Black-owned business because they've had 1 or 2 or maybe 5 bad experiences with different Black-owned businesses. But that is not the entire of the Black-owned businesses. When you go to an Asian restaurant and be nasty and dirty and they have bad customer service, y'all still go back and eat them damn egg rolls. Y'all will, because you like them damn egg rolls. But as soon as a Black person doesn't step up to your standards or don't meet your standards, then you want to cancel all Black-owned businesses out. Here's the thing. If there's a Black-owned business that's not leveling up, instead of you putting a bad Yelp review, because that's one thing that it was so sad. I was in Atlanta and there was this restaurant and they said, the bad thing is, we get a lot of white people in here during the week, Black people in here during the weekend. And what she did say is the Black people are the ones who give us the bad Yelp reviews. The Black people are the ones who will find a hair all of a sudden in their food and they want the shit free. It's unfortunate that we have, some of us have this get over spirit, right? But what I would do is if you receive bad service is you give them constructive feedback. You give them feedback. I always try to do that. I've had situations where I've given feedback. Sometimes it was received. I remember I went to an event with David Banner. David Banner was in Sacramento and he was there and it was just like not put together well. And there was not a lot of people there and it just wasn't really that great. And so afterwards I told the person who put it on, I gave him some feedback and I didn't understand what was going on. And he was like, oh, this is what I meant to do when I was doing this. And this is because I was like, we were just sat there for an hour. He was like, oh no, that was our networking time. I didn't know. I thought we were just waiting on the thing to happen. I didn't know. But I said, I put on events and this is what I do. So here's, what I would do differently. And he was so grateful for the feedback. And he thanked me. And then on another hand, I remember, again, trying to do business with Black people. I had bought t-shirts from this girl and I wanted her to print some t-shirts. Now I have bought t-shirts from my cousin who's also excellent at doing the t-shirts. And I bought some from her. I bought some from him. Her t-shirts were like iron-on t-shirts. She ironed on a logo and the quality was not even, it was not fair. It was poor. It was less than poor. And I told her, I said, I want to give you some feedback. I said, I'm going to pay you your money. I just want to tell you, I want to give you some feedback on the quality here. And her response was, okay, so when you going to pay me my money? That was it. That was her response. And I said, okay, I'll never do business with her again. So she didn't, what she didn't understand is that influence. She was so short-sighted and she didn't understand business. Okay, so then I'm not going to do business with you, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to do business because I did another Black-owned business, same time. These other t-shirts were excellent. So does that mean that I don't do business with any Black people because I have bad experience with her? No, I keep on doing it. I'm going to keep on trying. I'm going to keep on fighting for us. That's what other races do. Shoot, why do you think Asian restaurants stay in business for so long? Because they're supported and they don't have the best service. Okay. So I just had to get on my soapbox really quick because I think that there's this misconception that people say, oh, I'll do it anywhere. Or I don't get good. I have been in a lot of situations where I didn't get good service from all different races. But we will put a punctuation mark on a Black-owned business that we won't do for other people. And that's not fair. Let me see. Kim said, do you think MBE, business designation, SBA, minority programs, Black Chamber of Commerce are going to catch the shit rolling from down here from the feds? Yes, they will. It already is where they're trying to get rid of erase the 8A. But still, those government contracts are available. Now, we know Elon Musk is getting the lion's share of, and the reason why he's part of the reason why he's a billionaire is because he's gotten billions of dollars in government contracts. It doesn't matter. Let's keep fighting for them. We're in the land, Kim. You know, we're in the land of government contracts. There are so many opportunities out there for us to get paid. We just have to position ourselves right, and we just have to keep trying. That's the difference. Is if you're really serious about getting a government contract, you know the neighborhood I live in. You know my neighbors with these $1 million homes. They have, $1 million contracts. Some have $1 billion contracts. So it's possible. You just got to keep trucking. You got to keep going. And they very well may get rid of the MBE, which is the minority business enterprise, and the DBE, which is the disadvantaged business enterprise. They very well may be, but it doesn't mean that there's not going to be any opportunity. So I say still go for the opportunity. Okay. I like watching travel YouTubers to learn about other countries. Kim said, I went to a German-owned primary and elementary school in inner city Detroit who hired all Black educators and history experts to teach us. They told us they couldn't and shouldn't. I don't understand that. They sterilized their own that didn't line up with their standards and be the intellect. I appreciate you supporting Black-owned businesses. Okay, y'all. It's a lot of comments on here. It's a lot of comments on here. But I found them interesting. You guys, y'all keep the comments coming and y'all keep the conversations going. Let me ask you this question though. If you were to get a government contract, because there's tons out there, and I do inside the Grow Your Money Club, I do have a training on how to get started in government contracts. But if you were able, so go to growyourmoney.club, it's free for 7 days. If you were to get a government contract, what would you specialize in? What would you do? I know people who have gotten government contracts because they have those MBE, those minority business enterprise certifications. And I know people who've gotten government contracts, millions and millions of dollars, who don't have any designations or certifications. But if you were to do it, what type of business would you work with the federal government on? What type of business would you work with the federal government on? There are opportunities out there. And so if you are an entrepreneur, number one, the federal government is the biggest employer of African Americans in this country. And that's why do you think they're trying to dismantle all these government agencies? Who's the biggest recipient of government jobs? We are. We're not the biggest recipients. 85% of them have the government contracts. They have the lion's share. We only 6% of us have the government contracts. But there's still opportunities in that space. I'm telling you this because I really want you to get inside your head that you can do more than just working a 9 to 5. You can put yourself in a position where you're generating real generational wealth. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he's an attorney. He's a lobbyist and an attorney. And one of the things he said is, one thing that I've learned in being in the DMV for the last 20 plus years is that I'll never build generational wealth being an attorney. I'm watching my friends. He's watching people who live in my neighborhood. He's watching all these people who've gotten real money that they're passing down to their children and their children's children just by virtue of working with the government. I know a young lady who got a government contract in real estate, a broker, $1 billion REO contract as a real estate broker. There are all types of contracts in there. You don't even have to know the business or the industry. They're looking for people to take on these contracts. Otherwise, they got to give them to all the white people who got the majority of the contracts anyway. So throw your hat in the ring. Real estate will be one. There's tons of like property management, real estate government contracts in there. For me, and Kim knows, the reason why I haven't done a government contract is because it feels too much like corporate to me. And I love too much. I've been an entrepreneur for 25 years, and I don't want to have to report to anybody. And I don't want to have that corporate structure that you have to have when you're working. You have to report, you have to have metrics, you have to do all that stuff. That ain't how I ain't built like that. I ain't been built like that for the last 25 years. So that's the only reason why every time I thought about it, I was like, this is not what I want to do. However, if you are in that space and you want to structure your business, or you work a 9 to 5 now, why not get a government contract on the side? You can get a small government contract where you're helping people. When you talk about real estate, you could help a diplomat rent an apartment. That's a government contract. The federal government may need toilet paper. They can't go to Target and buy it. They have to buy it through a contracting entity. They have to buy it from someone who has a contract. So you are that middleman that go out there and get the toilet paper for the federal government or the pens or the paper. Those opportunities are available to you. So I want you guys to start thinking outside the box. What is it that you can do in this economy? How can you pivot? What are the advantages you have? Again, they've underestimated us. And while they're trying to take all of these things away from us, all of these programs away from us, they're going to need us. They are going to need us. And the reality is they're going to need us before we need them. I'm happy that we're being more self-reliant. I'm happy that we're not, they're limiting these welfare programs. I'm happy about that because that's what we need. And if you want to get out of that, if you want, listen, there was somebody that I know. I remember when I first got my real estate license, she was living in San Jose and she was making good money. And I said, hey, don't you want to buy a house? And she was like, and get off housing. Like, people are addicted to these aids. And there are people who can actually be doing so much better for themselves, but they'll limit themselves. I had a friend who was in real estate and she was making a ton of money in real estate. And then she just stopped working so she can get child support from her ex-husband. If she was working the way she had worked in the past, she wouldn't be able to get the child support. So she limited her 6-figure salary so she can get $1,000 a month from her. Like, that's the kind of thinking that we have. We limit our potential and our possibility because we're so dependent upon these things that we're getting for free. Real freedom is in ownership. Real freedom is in ownership. And that's the reason why I'm so passionate about teaching you guys, how to build businesses, how to go from ideation to manifestation to monetization. That's the reason why I just did this training over the weekend. I did this wonderful training. Several of you guys who are watching today, it was great. In fact, let me show you some feedback that I got from the training, because I'm going to do it again and I'm going to offer a free training. But let me show you what Miss Linda had to say about this training.
Hi, I must say that this training has been an absolute blessing to me. Constance has made me awake in ways that I never thought. She has pulled out things for me that I didn't want to be pulled out. I think she has, even though she doesn't say it's a gift, I think she has a gift whereas she can see something in us that we may not be able to see in ourselves. And she doesn't stop until she pulls it out of you. She wants the best, I believe, in her teaching. And I think she makes sure that you don't settle for less than the best. When she comes with her all, and you can genuinely feel her sincerity and her speaking to you and her teaching you. And she wants you to not just accept for mediocre. I thank her for making me see that, yes, my business vision is possible. The sky is the limit. And if my mind is made up, then what's stopping me? Nothing can stop me other than Linda. If God is with me, who can be against me? I am determined to make my business flourish and be what it should be. And it's all because Constance was willing to take the time to have this training. I can even take it again. I am so elated and excited about what she has done for me as a person. It is the best workshop I've ever been to. And I thank her for being determined to pull out of us what she knew that's in us because of what's in her and because of where she has been. So because of her journey, I am now here able to sit and speak with her and look to be a better person on my journey and to help somebody else along the way. Thank you, Constance. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you.
Thank you so much. There were so many great outcomes and takeaways from this training. It's 2-day training. So I'm actually going to be doing a webinar on Friday. So instead of coming here and listening to me here, I want you guys. Thank you. I appreciate you, Kim. I'm going to be doing a free training on Friday. So if you're interested in this free training, go ahead and sign up, and it's only going to be for the people who sign up. So you have to sign up in order for you to get access to it. So I'm going to show you how to identify your unique expertise and monetize your knowledge. I'm going to help you build your framework to create your business. I'm going to help you to show you how you can monetize proven strategies to generate income and scale your business. So go to thinkbuildmonetize.com. Let me see if it's working. Thinkbuildmonetize.com. Yep. It's a 2-day training. It's going to be, it's on March 21st. Yeah, it's on March 21st. It's on Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. So listen, this is a rarity that I'm offering for you. And it's free. This is the second one I'm doing. Think, Build, Monetize. This training is free. So Friday at 11 a.m. I want you to have your face in the place. I'm going to show you some strategies to help you take your idea and show you how to monetize it, show you how to build off of it, and show you how to monetize it. Okay. So Think, Build, Monetize. This is a webinar on Friday. I'm going to give you a moment right now. Open up another tab on your browser and go to thinkbuildmonetize.com. If you missed the last one, you do not want to miss this one. This is absolutely free. This is going to help you. We got to get out of this consumer mentality and we got to get to investing. The number one investment that we can make, y'all, is in ourselves. Okay. You are your biggest commodity. Stocks are good. Bonds are good. Real estate is good, but you are your biggest investment. And I want you to just take a moment, just take an hour out of your time. This is my give back to you. I don't make no money. This is free. So this is my give back to you. I want to help you I want you to help you crystallize and formulate in your mind, what is that thing that you're good at? I don't know if you know, people will pay you handsomely for. What is that thing that you're good at? We're going to take that from an idea and we're going to make it into a business. Okay. So this is a 1-hour webinar on Friday. Yes. Thank you, Terry. Terry was there. I'm so proud of all of everybody that came. I'm so proud of all of you guys because the transformation that happened in 24 hours from day 1 to day 2 was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. I tell you, it was phenomenal. So I can't even explain it. I can't put words to it. It's just one of the things where you got to be there to really understand what actually happened. But that was just one. Everybody had some great breakthroughs and transformations as a result of attending this 2-day training. So this is going to be an hour, just a teaser, just to show you what you can do. These are your possibilities. Get off the fence, get off of mediocrity, get out of just being content with where you are. I want to help you to grow to where you need to grow. Okay. So go to thinkbuildmonetize.com so we can go from ideation, that idea that you have that people will pay handsomely for, to monetization. And I know you have a brilliant idea and maybe somebody told you that it wasn't good, or maybe somebody told you that other people are doing it, or maybe you've seen somebody else do it and they're doing well. And maybe you think that there's no room for you. There are 8 billion people on this planet. It's a lot of people that need your help. It's a lot of people who do the same thing I do, but they're not me. It's a lot of people who do the same thing that you can do, but they're not you. Understand that what God has given you is for you, and nobody can take it away. He gave you that idea for a reason. And if you don't do it, somebody gonna do it. But why don't you benefit from what God has gifted you with? So go to thinkbuildmonetize.com this Friday, same time, same back channel. I want to see all of you guys register for this because this is going to be life-changing for you. It's going to be a game changer for you. And I'm excited for the people who are going to be on because this is going to be awesome. Okay. Thank you, Karen, for signing up. I want to see your face in the place. I'm taking my time out of my busy schedule, and I just want to help you to be your best you. They are doing everything that they can to silence us. They're doing everything they can to oppress us, but they've underestimated us. They really have. And so it's going to take you not only listening to me, but it's going to take you taking action so that you can get to that next level, so that you can live your dreams. I live my dreams. Y'all, I'm telling you, I wish you could see what I'm seeing right now. I'm looking at the golf course right here. And every day that I wake up, every morning I wake up and the birds be like, today I was like, okay, birds, y'all doing too much. I really was like, y'all doing too much. Like, y'all doing too much. But every day I wake up, I just be like, oh my God, the birds are chirping. This is great. I love it, God. Thank you. I be just thanking God. Today the birds are chirping a little bit too much though. But I'm so grateful. I live life the way I want to live it. And y'all, let me just tell you something. I've been where I made a lot of money, and I don't make as much money as I used to. I'm on the way back. I'm like halfway there. But I know how to make it. I know how to get it. I've lost it. I've gotten it again. Like, I know how to get there. So it's one thing to be able to get money. Can you keep it? And if you lose it, can you get it back again? You have to have a certain strategy to be able to create something that's sustainable. And that's the thing about what we're doing, with the Black Business School and everything that we're just doing, trying to do in the community to uplift our people. This is for you, y'all. This is for you. So I'm really excited about what we're getting ready to do. I think that's all. I'm at an hour 10 mark. You guys, make sure you watch Fly Nubian Money. I'm not going to be on there today. I got to go and talk to my agents at Catalyst because we have our Monday morning sales call in about 15 minutes. And we selling real estate all over the state of California. And guess what? My daughter just got licensed in Virginia and DC. I was already licensed in DC, Maryland, Virginia. My daughter was licensed in Maryland, but guess what? She is now licensed in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So if you are in or around the area, I'm helping her. I'm doing, with my mortgage company, I'm helping originate the loans for her clients. And she is out there killing the game in Maryland. Now she's going to be in DC and Virginia. So if you need real estate services, go to Catalyst Real Estate, our website. You can send me a DM. You can apply for a loan and we can help you in all of those areas. So that's what we have for you. So many different ways. Oh, you know what? In fact, remember when I told you I live in an affluent neighborhood? I want to share with you this video that I did, and I just reposted. I did this a few years ago. This is when I used to change my hair up every few months. But look, check this out. 12 years ago, I moved into an affluent neighborhood. And when I did, I wanted to see who was who. See, I met one of the neighbors and he was telling me, this person owns this multi-million-dollar company. This person owns a winery. So I wanted to see who my neighbors were. When I went to look them up, because as a real estate agent, I have access to that information, I noticed that a lot of these homes were in living trust. And so I was wondering, what is this whole living trust thing about? Coincidentally, a few months later, we sold a home to a young couple and the home was only in the husband's name. A few months later, he gets into a car accident and he dies. The wife wants to sell the home. And she couldn't sell the home because even though California is a community property state, half of that home still belonged to the kids. And the judge, when she went to try to sell it, the judge said, well, it's not in the best interest of the children to sell the home right now. She had to go fight through probate in order to get it sold. And so over the years, I've sold many homes of people who ended up dying, and some had living trusts, some did not. A will is not the same as living trust. So even if you will your property to somebody in your family, it still has to go through probate, which is a costly process, and a will can be contested. A living trust cannot be broken. Even as a first-time home buyer, when you get your home, it is important that you protect your assets. Get mortgage protection insurance and get a living trust. You want to make sure that your kids don't end up hating each other and fighting each other in the event of your death. Yo, somebody asked my daughter's socials. But yeah, I've had many of clients that was fighting, that was hating each other. Mama said that she wanted me to have, and we had I've had so many situations where, stuff has gone to probate. I had a situation where, and she'll probably watch this because she told me she watched me every day. Thank you for my daughter. But her father-in-law passed away. He's still dead. He's still dead. He's dead. He's sitting at the table, dead. The coroner ain't even came yet. His kids is taking the furniture out the house. This is my mama's furniture because they didn't want his girlfriend to get it. They fighting over furniture. People be fighting over jewelry. They fight over property. They fight over a house, and they end up hating each other. And so if you don't have a living trust, the reason why I made that video is because people don't have living trust. When I moved into that affluent neighborhood, it was all white. Well, I was the only black one. My neighbor thought, I was from good times. They all had living trust. I now live in an affluent neighborhood, which is a predominantly black neighborhood, bigger houses, better cars. Nobody's houses are in living trust. Why? We got to start protecting our assets because we work so hard to accumulate these things, and then they end up going into probate, and it's up to the judge to decide. And let me tell you something. I work hard for my shit. And the worst thing in the world is to be able to have a judge, because this happened in my divorce, have a judge tell you what you had to do with the shit that you worked hard for. Oh my God. Having flashbacks. You out there working, and a judge tells you what you have to do with the stuff that you work hard for. Well, if you have a living trust, you don't have to worry about that. So a few weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, I created an ebook on how you can actually do your own living trust. You don't even have to go and pay thousands of dollars for a living trust. It's $20. It's an ebook. This is going to save you thousands of dollars. It's going to save you time. The reason why I came up with this is because I was saying I had to update my living trust when I moved out here and I purchased this home. And so I was just like, because I had a living trust before, I just had ChatGPT update it, and I knew all the prompts to do it. So I just had ChatGPT, and I was like, I can give this to all my people and have them show them how to create a living trust with ChatGPT. Let me write an ebook. So I give you the prompts of what you need to create a solid living trust. Number one, I show you how to record them in your state. I show you how to make them legal. Okay. So go to makemylivingtrust.com. It's $20. $20. It's an ebook. Real simple ebook. I give you the prompts. You put it in ChatGPT. Bada bing, bada boom. You have a living trust. You ain't got to have, you could have absolutely. If you want to have a lawyer overlook it, you can. You probably should, but you don't have to because it's an ironclad living trust. I'm not an attorney. I will preface it and say that, but this is an opportunity, and living trust costs anywhere on the low end, $1,500. Till around $3,000, and depending on your level of assets, it could be more than that. So to be able to get this for $20, check it out. Check it out. I've helped celebrities with this. I've helped clients with this. MakeMyLivingTrust.com. Get yourself a living trust, Black people. Protect your assets. I'm gonna be here tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Remember, again, on Friday, it's not going to be a regular podcast like regular. It's going to be a training where I'm going to help you. Build. Think, build, and monetize your business. And it's going to be a game changer for you. So this will be Friday. So make sure you go to thinkbuildmonetize.com. Now, y'all, this is Women's History Month. Kimberly, if you're still watching, I'm honoring one of your personal friends, somebody that I've been wanting to meet for a long time. Miss Kathy Hughes. She's been on my vision board, my list of people that I've been wanting to meet for years. And she actually lives here in the DMV. At some point, I'm going to meet Miss Kathy Hughes, but she is my Black History Spotlight, my women's, make sure it's in here. My women's, yep. She's my Women's History Month feature today. So this week, or actually for the next 4 weeks or the next 3 weeks now, since we're in the second week, I think, I'm going to try to do at least 2 Women History Month, Women History Spotlights. But here's a little something about Miss Kathy Hughes. Today, we are talking about a media mogul, a boss, and a woman who made sure Black voices were heard loud and clear. Somebody who has been on my vision board for years that I've wanted to personally meet. Now listen, when we talk about power moves, Kathy Hughes' name has got to be in the conversation. She's the founder of Radio One, now called Urban One, which became the largest Black-owned media company in the country. Y'all, this is the first Black woman to own a publicly traded media company. But let me tell you something, it wasn't easy. Kathy Hughes lost everything building her dream. She and her son literally lived in the radio station while she fought to get her business off the ground. But she didn't quit. And because of her perseverance, her company now owns more than 50 radio stations, TV networks like TV One, and a digital empire that keeps Black stories front and center. Now that is what legacy looks like. She built a platform where we could control our own narratives, tell our own stories, and make sure our voices were heard. Without Kathy Hughes, a lot of the Black media we know and love today wouldn't even exist. So today, lady, we salute you. You are a queen, a visionary, and a living legend. Now let her story be a reminder that when the journey gets hard, you don't stop. You build, you grow, you keep going. I am personally inspired. Now, if Kathy Hughes inspired you, drop a Black fist in the comments and share this with somebody who needs to hear. And remember, Black women don't just make history, we are history. Black women don't just make history, we are history. Yes, Miss Kathy Hughes. Shout out to Miss Kathy Hughes in the DMV. She started her radio station in Washington, D.C., land of plenty of opportunity for those of you. And shout out to, real quick before I go, I love it, Miss Terry Wilson. Kyle is her realtor in Maryland, and she is awesome. So if you guys are in or around the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, follow her on TikTok She be doing a damn thing on TikTok. She's doing a damn thing. So and Instagram, follow her. And if you're looking to buy or sell, hit my daughter up. I mean, working with her is basically working with me. So Keys with Kai. She will be the one out showing you property and doing all the things. And I'll be right there in the background, mentoring and coaching her until she gets to her mama's level. But Keys with Kai is my daughter. And if you're in the area, go and hit her up. All right. Thank you guys. You guys have been amazing. Y'all stayed on here with me and y'all listen to me rant. You know, I always love to talk about the historical context of where we are because I think it's important because, you know, we got to get away from these talking points that we see inside the media, and we got to formulate our own opinion. Like, we're not all Black people, and I know it's more than Black people. I see people from Bangladesh are here. Thank you. So be sure to tag her, Kathy Hughes, in Urban One. She's a phenomenal icon. Yeah, that's Kim knows her person. That's her personal friend. Kim ain't introducing me to Kathy Hughes though. But the thing about it is we need to make sure that we have our own opinions. We're not a monolith. We're not all liberal. We ain't, you know, when they stole our word woke and all that shit and they made it part of some other liberal agenda. That's not who we are as Black people. We know, right? A lot of the values that the Republican Party have, we don't have. A lot of the values that the Democratic Party have that we don't have, but we have to start thinking for ourselves. The reason why a lot of people are so mad is because the very thing that they've done to us, they are getting done to. And that's the only reason why they loud about it. This shit's been happening to us for years. Now, not that we just need to mind our own Black business and mind our own Black business like the shirts I have, because we need to do that too. But we also need to look at it. And we also need to see, I got t-shirts. Go to conversationtees.com. We're going to mind our own Black business, and we minding our Black business. We minding and we minding. But we also need to take note, and we need to make smart, strategic moves right now. Because right now is, in my opinion, is the best time to be alive. So y'all, I appreciate you guys being on here with me. I'm going to see you tomorrow, same bat time and same bat channel. Where is my outro?
Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Welcome to Book Club. I want to welcome you guys to the internet. Welcome to my book club session on the internet, YouTube, wherever you may be watching. I'm streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Am I on Twitter? I'm not on Twitter today, but Facebook, YouTube. Welcome, everybody. I see y'all in the chat. How y'all doing? Today, we're going to talk about how to find clarity in the conflict that you have with your partner, inevitable conflict that you will always have with your partner. We've been spending a lot of time talking about conflict and healthy conflict resolution. Today, we're going to finish chapter 5, which let me read the title. Title of chapter 5 is When Conflicts Arise, not if conflicts arise. It's when conflicts arise. And so this is a wonderful time for us to learn everything we need to learn to make sure we all work it out. Brothers got to work it out. Sisters, we got to work it out. We all need to work it out. And I'm here today to conclude chapter 5, When Conflicts Arise. And we just got 3 little sections here, but it's meaty. The name of the book is How to Be an Adult in Relationships. It's the 5 keys to mindful loving. Somebody in the chat, write down the 5 keys to mindful loving. We're going to definitely talk about it here today. And y'all know me. I am Dr. Alicia. Let me tell you what I am. I am a psychotherapist. I have been a licensed therapist for going on 22 years. I've been practicing in the field I've been practicing in our community for over 30 years. I've been studying this information. What is healthy relationship? What is healthy child development? What's appropriate? What's not appropriate? What's normal? What's not? So that we can feel good about who and what we are. Not only have I been doing this for 34 years, most of my life at this point, but I'm a descendant of 2 healers. So my parents are dedicated in the community. Both of them were trained to be therapists. And, oh, can you not hear me? Is there sound? You can't hear me. What's going on? Whoa, what's happening that you can't hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. No sound. I got perfect sound. Perfect sound. So Riley can hear me. Okay, so some people can hear me. I would hate to think that I'm been talking all this time and no one can hear me. Let me see if I can. I don't know how to turn the sound up. Oh, you had to unmute. Okay, you can hear now. Okay, wonderful. We all can hear what I'm saying. But what was I saying? Yes, I was saying that I'm the second generation of healers. And I have been raised by, I had an unusual childhood in many different ways, but I was raised by people who, raised by individuals who have studied this. And so we've all done, and my parents have been dedicated in the community. My dad was at Tuskegee University teaching other people how to become therapists. My mom was a school teacher, and then she became a counselor therapist later on in her life. Anyway, that's what's up. That's who and what I am. So currently I am a psychotherapist. I work with couples and I also work with individuals. There's my website, Coaching with Dr. Alicia. Usually the conflict stage is when I see couples. From time to time, I do see couples who are so in love with each other. They know they're getting married and they say, we know we're going to have problems. What are some of the things that we need to think about so that we can get through tough times, because they understand there's tough times. I do get people like that. I get a lot of people who come out of hard relationships and they want to be able to process what happened to them. They notice that there are patterns of people that they want to date, and they want to have this self-knowledge and they want to grow and learn. So that's also what I see too. And I love it. We are on, let me tell you, we are on top. We got a lot of ways to go as a community, but I think we are killing it. Those who are dedicated are making great strides in making sure our mental health is sound and that we break generational curses. It's happening, y'all. It's happening. The revolution won't be televised. So it's happening quietly. Quietly, it's happening. So I want to say hello to everyone. We are, just to let you know, some of the people who are just coming in, we're on chapter 5 of this book. So I've been through 4 chapters. We're going to finish chapter 5, how to be an adult in relationships. We are more than halfway done. I'm trying to think about my next book. I got to contemplate. I got some thoughts and ideas about some topics I do want to cover. I don't know if I should go to, y'all got to let me know. I want to go to subconscious mind stuff, how to get back your subconscious mind. Not sure if I want to do that or if I want to dive more into healing. I got to meditate on it and try to decide which is the best fit for me. I see y'all in here. I see you, Riley. How you doing? Plum. Oh, Sugar Pam. I love that. Peace and love. Yes, that's what's up. Peace and love. Good night to everyone. Renard, how you doing? Jen, how's it going? I see where y'all from. Let me see. Y'all put in the chat where you're from. So you can hear me. Thank goodness I can be heard. 5 keys to mindful loving. Do we know what those are? What are the 5 keys to mindful loving? I got to quiz everybody. Maybe I'll have a prize for people who understand and get the 5 keys to mindful loving. Do y'all know what they are? What are the 5 keys to mindful loving? I wrote it in the margins, but I don't really need to read it. I kind of know it offhand. So the first key to mindful loving is attention. Making sure that you are giving to your partner uninterrupted attention. You're listening to them. You're paying attention. You're not on your phone. You're not being distracted. You cut off distractions and you just pay attention to each other. And you have to be able to give that. And you also need to be able to receive that. Also, attention. The next one is affection. Feeling comfortable giving and receiving affection. The third key to mindful loving is allowance. being allowing somebody to be who and what they are and encouraging them to achieve their goals. So allowing. So it's attention, affection, allowing. Appreciation. You need to be able to show appreciation. Concentrate on what's going well. That's a good thing. How to be an adult in relationships. You need to have a positive perspective. Concentrate on what's going well and try to minimize things that's not going well. Thank you to the Gottmans for highlighting that one. Gottman Institute. Y'all know about the Gottmans? Get into the Gottman Institute. They're all about appreciation. That is key in relationships. Appreciation is okay. So it's attention, affection, appreciation, allowing. What's the fifth one? Attention, affection, appreciation, allowing. What's the other one? Oh, acceptance. Being able to accept people. No judging. So don't judge other people, and allow yourself to be accepted into other people. So those are the 5 keys to mindful loving. Hey, Brian Norfleet, how you doing? But I understand what's going on. Yes, affirmations. Yes, you have to be able to do this. So this is what all of us need. So all of us need attention, affection, appreciation, allowing, and acceptance. Thank you, Jen, for writing them down. Y'all write these down and make sure that you are able to give and receive all of these things. That's the how to be an adult in relationships. And you really need to have this when you are dealing with conflict. So let's get right into it. But before we do, I want to say hi to Brian. Brian, yes, I do consultations. Look how cool you are, giving the peace sign. That's what's up. Go to my website, coachingwithdralicia.com, and then you'll be able to I'll give someone to be in contact with you to give consultations. I do have consultations at Coaching with Dr. Alicia. Y'all can follow me on Instagram. Please follow me on Instagram. I'm also on TikTok and other channels, just having fun on social media. But the biggest thing is to text the word love, LOVE, to 87948, and then you get all sorts of information on when I go live and some really cool things there. So let's get right into it. Okay. So as we finish chapter 5 of How to Be an Adult in Relationships, this is all about conflict, the conflict phase of a relationship, the very normal phase of a relationship. You want to see conflict because that's how you connect with another person, is to have conflict. So we are on page 165. Page 165. I thought this was interesting from David Rico to talk about this. He's saying we need to space the problem. Space the problem. I like this idea about spacing the problem. I'm going to read it in a second because I think that's the first key to mindfulness, is to create space between you and the problem. Why? Because sometimes you're in it and you can't see the forest for the trees, but if you space yourself from the problem, it gives you a better perspective. You can see the whole picture. And so this is how you space the problem. So let's listen up. Spacing the problem. By the way, get your journals out. Get your journals out. Page 165, chapter 5. Get your journals out because he's giving you instructions. Hey, Abel, how you doing? How you doing, Abel? Welcome, Abel. Love Abel. Okay, so let's go. Spacing the problem. Get your journals out. Draw a circle for a pie chart. In your journal, draw a circle. Describe the problem you are facing in writing in the center of the problem. So you need to think about a problem that you have with your significant other. What's the conflict? What's the conflict about? And then you shorten it down to maybe 1 or 2 words and you write it in the middle of the book, in the middle of the circle. Using the simplest possible terms, no editorializing. So don't be going on and on and on about it. Just write the phrase. For example, my partner left. Okay, my partner left. That's the problem. That's the issue. That's the conflict. That's the problem you have with your partner. Your partner left. This fact taken alone leads to appropriate grief. So when someone leaves, it's okay to feel like you miss them. You can sit with that. It's appropriate to feel like you have grief. Consider how the ego interferes by adding fear, attachment to an outcome, the need to control, blame, sense of abandonment, and so forth. Adults cannot be abandoned. When you are an adult in relationships, there's no such thing as being abandoned. Only children can be abandoned. If you are an adult, no one can abandon you. Someone can leave you, but they can't abandon you. Someone leaving you can bring up abandonment issues in you, but that person just left, and it's okay. Sometimes you need to say goodbye. Goodbye to you in this situation. It's okay. It's okay to say goodbye. It's not a disaster. Okay. It's what the ego attaches to it. It can add fear, scared, to be alone. Okay. Attachment to an outcome. Oh, I really wanted to get married this person, but that person left. You ain't getting married to them. So you were attached more to the outcome of being somebody's spouse than you were to what happened. Maybe you're just attached to the outcome. The need to control. Okay, so the person left and you didn't want them to leave. And so maybe the need to control is to get them to come back, manipulate them. Woo, sure, Lord. Blame. Oh, they just left because she got daddy issues. That's why she left. Maybe, maybe not, but they just left. You don't have to, it's just what happened in your circle. Or it can be a sense of abandonment. And I just talked about abandonment. These are all additional sources of unnecessary pain. So you need to deal with the fact that someone left, and you have to grieve that someone left. What meaning you attach to it is when you suffer. So I call it connecting to the pain of somebody leaving versus suffering because somebody left. You don't need to suffer. You can connect to the fact that you miss them, that you saying goodbye to them in this situation. That does not mean, it really does not mean you have to suffer because someone left, begging them to come back and getting them, manipulating them to do they just left. And it's fine. You can't control another person. So divide the pie to show the varying size of each of these pain sources. Each source of pain that somebody left, or whatever the situation. Y'all could write in here in the chat. I see you, Jen. I see you in here. So just put in the chat, what would be a source of conflict or pain? One thing I don't like when people call me names. Maybe someone called you a name. Maybe it could be anything. Hey, David, how you doing? I see you, David. Divide that chart to show all the sources of where you've suffered because of that. Given a visible indication of how you are being distracted from attending to the pure experience. Lying. Yes, somebody lies to you. Ooh, that hurts. That's painful. There's a grief process when someone lies to you. There's always a grief process. When something happens to you that hurts. That hurts. I'm grieving that because I thought that person wouldn't hurt me in that way. So you have to grieve the fact that it got missed. Good one. Okay. So giving visible indication of how you are being distracted from attending to the pure experience, which is simply that your partner left or that your partner lied, or that your partner called you a name, whatever. Now draw the pie again with only the simple phrase in the center, and notice the sense of space that results. Don't avoid. Yes. So today, y'all are so smart. LJ007 got it. Avoidance or unavailable emotionally, those things are painful. But to respond to that, you don't want to avoid the grief. You have to embrace the grief of what's happened to you. So this is how mindfulness puts space around our experience so they can be what they are and nothing else. They can be what they are. They just left. This in turn allows us to feel the pain of a situation, a loss, for instance, without the added suffering, I call it suffering, of the centrifugal forces our mind has generated. Boy, when someone leaves, that triggers all sorts of things. So you look at the incident, whatever's happening between you and your partner, you can put that in the center and then write about all of the things, how your mind kind of spirals out and say, oh gosh, I'm having these issues and this means this. You'd be surprised the trail of events that our mind puts us in when we have issues, when things happen that cause us a lot of pain, and we do all sorts of things to make sure that we do not experience this pain. So that's good. Y'all put that in your books, put that in your journal, and really look at a way of spacing the problem. I think this is a very effective way to deal with emotional pain and how to organize your feelings. You know, drawing that circle, it represents the pie chart in your journal. My partner left. It's a simple phrase. When you look at it like that, it's like you can mindfully look at what just happened and reflect on the emotions and thoughts that are complicating some of the experiences that we have around the fact that your partner left or your partner lied. You know, when someone leaves, that's not abandonment because I'm a grown woman. Yes, Jen. Goodbye to you. Yes, you're a grown woman. Somebody just left. And, you know, so it's important to just take a look at that. And I think this exercise is really good because sometimes we notice how we distract ourselves or pull ourselves away from experiencing the true pain of the event. Like, you lied to me. That hurt. Instead of adding all of these things. It's noisy outside my office. Mindfulness encourages us. You are something. I always get distracted when you come in here. I can't help it. I really struggle with like staying professional when my husband comes in. He makes me makes me warm when he's around me. Anyway. Okay. So we focus on the pure experience. My partner left without all of these mental additions that we tend to go through. So that's important. Okay. So moving along, let's continue with the next book, which is next part, which is really interesting. And before we continue, hello, everybody. I see more people have joined. I'm looking at How to Be an Adult in Relationships. We're reading from this book. We're looking at the 5 Keys of Mindful Loving by fellow social worker David Rico. I know I have to tell boys to stop. He's not trying to interrupt. He's really helping me out, but I just get distracted and I can't help but to acknowledge that he's around. But he's floating around here somewhere. Anyway, so the next part is distinguishing need from neediness. Okay. So how do we distinguish need from neediness? What do I seek in relationships when I am needy for childhood fulfillments? What do I seek when I have adult needs? Answer these questions by locating where you are on the following chart. Okay, so they got a chart. A needy child says, versus a healthy adult says. So what a healthy adult says and what a needy child says, two different things. Let's look at this. A needy child says, end my loneliness. Whereas a healthy adult is going to say, be my companion, while both of us respect each other's need to be alone at times. I'd like to have a companion, but if you can't come along, that's okay. I'll go by myself and I'll be okay. Or, you know what? I want to go alone at this. Saying that you need to have alone and recognizing when you'd like to have a companion. That's what adults do. A needy child says, make me feel good. Make me feel good. A healthy adult says, I can take responsibility for my own feelings and don't expect or need to feel good all the time. You don't need to be happy all the time. You don't need to feel good all the time. You decide how you want to feel. I like that whole idea. You make up your mind how you want to feel. And it's interesting because somebody can be rude. Someone could say things that are disrespectful. And people say things that are disrespectful all the time. But that doesn't mean I have to feel disrespected. I don't give you permission to make me feel disrespected unless I decide I'm going to give you permission. So you can say to somebody, wow, what you just said was very rude. You know, you can communicate to them about what they said, but that doesn't mean it has to land on you as hurtful. You give someone permission to hurt you. So I think that's the difference there. Someone can say things that are verbally abusive, but that doesn't mean you need to be abused. You know, what you said was verbally abusive, but it's not going to come across to me. You're not abusing me because I don't give you permission to abuse me. That's what adults do. Children, a needy child can't help it. They can't help it. I like that one. Okay, a needy child says, give in to me. Do what I say, okay? But a healthy adult says, negotiate with me. Negotiate with me. I like negotiation in healthy relationships. That reminds me, I'm going to do a podcast on Mental Health Monday. We're going to talk about, should a wife submit to her husband? Because to me, it's like give in to me. Like a wife has to give in to her husband. I think a better conversation needs to be negotiate. Two couples in a relationship who are adults need to engage in the process of negotiation. So that's going to be a heck of a topic. I can't wait to dig into that topic. Okay. A needy child says, never betray me, never lie to me or disappoint me. But a healthy adult says, I accept you as fallible and seek to address, process, and resolve issues with you. Issues with you. Now, if the other person doesn't want to participate in that, you can't make them participate in it. All you can do is say goodbye. You could leave. You're not abandoning anybody. You can be the one to leave. Okay. A needy child says, help me not to have fear. I depend on you. Where a healthy adult says, help me learn to love. We depend on each other. Interdependence. Not one person depending on another. There's an interdependence. I like that. A needy child says, totally fulfill my needs. I need you 100% to always be there to fulfill my needs. That's one I had to learn personally. But a healthy adult says, moderately fulfill my needs. You don't have to fulfill it all the time. It's okay. That's the one I had to like really learn. It's too much to have one person fulfill all of your needs. Like that's just too much. Kevin Carter says, Spouses in healthy relationships should submit to one another. Okay. Well, we're going to tackle that. We're going to tackle that. We're going to process that whole thing. I'd like to have an episode where we process that whole thing. And then we come out of it thinking, let's decide what is that really saying, and how should we really operate in a healthy relationship? But that's for a later conversation. Okay. A needy child says, help me repeat old painful scenarios from childhood and former relationships. Woo, you got to get sucked into old patterns. But a healthy adult says, I have mourned the past, learned from it, and now want something better. So it's not your partner's responsibility to heal me. It's for me to be able to process painful things in the past, learn from it, and move forward with growth. I'm not going to repeat these patterns. I'm going to notice these patterns and grow from them. Healthy adult. A needy child says, indulge my ego. Woo! Indulge my ego. That's what a needy child says. It is not the job. This is another topic that I'm going to talk about. It is not the job of a wife to feed her husband's ego. It's her job to build him up. But you build him up not by feeding their ego. You build them up by loving them. Period. Okay. A healthy adult says, confront and free my ego. Free me from the fact that I need to be souped up, that I don't have a fountain from within, and I need a fountain from outside of me to fill me up. Confront me and free me of that need. That's what a healthy adult says. A needy child says, I demand 100% of my need fulfillment from you. Demand it. But a healthy adult says, I hope to get about 25% of my need fulfilled from you. You can't look for one person to fulfill your need. A needy child says, I am looking for stability outside of myself. Children need stability, and they can't create it. They need an adult there to help build the stability for them. But a healthy adult is saying, I am looking for a setting that honors and enriches the stability that I have inside. Woo! So he's saying, ask yourself these questions and journal your responses. Get your journals out. Ask yourself these questions. Which partner in my life have appealed to my adult self? So who are the people in my life who appeal to my adult self? Whom do I think of when I am at my best? Which partner appealed to my needy child self? Whose face comes up when I am at my lowest ebb? You might also ask, which of my hobbies and pastimes are nurturing me as an adult, which are coddling my inner child's neediness? So some people do things. Yes, LaRonda, got it. Stop letting the past distract you from moving forward to the future. Forgive and move on to build better habits and healthier relationships. Yes. Period. I love that. I'm sorry. I got teenagers in the house, so I got teenage jargon that comes out of me every once in a while. So excuse my teenage jargon going on. But that's what they be telling me when I talk. Okay. If you're having trouble locating the adult voice in you, the mirroring parent voice, tell your story to your friends. So he's saying, reach out, talk to people about this. You will hear your adult voice in their response. Is this because they are more adult than you? No, they are simply not deafened by the adult distorting decibels of your drama. Yeah, that word submit. I think we got to come up with a better word. I think it is 2025. It's time to come up with a better word, but we'll tackle that at a later time. Yeah, so this is really what y'all think about that. I think you do need to have a conversation with yourself about whether you are operating from a need to come across to your partner as needy versus a healthy adult. And there's stark differences between the two. A needy child, if you're operating from a needy child, you're operating from dependency. It sounds like you're operating from a place of fear. A place of love is adults. As a place of fear, when you're operating from a place of fear, you're operating from needy child. A needy child seeks external validation, seeks external stability to compensate for your insecurities inside. So when you're making statements like end my loneliness, never betray me, totally fulfill all of my needs, all consuming need for reassurance on the outside, all of that is driven by some unresolved pain from past experiences. And it's not fair to rely heavily on other people to make sure they have these conditions, absolute perfect conditions. It's not realistic and it's not sustainable in a relationship to expect your partner to do so much. That is something I had to learn myself. I had to learn this. But healthy adults is where you need to approach relationships being balanced, being mature, having being responsible for how you feel. And I think that sort of mindset looks at the importance of companionship and respecting everybody's individuality. Y'all are not emerged two people like that. You're two separate people coming together, of course, but you want a companion, to respect each other. And so I think that's something that you need to do. You need to mourn the past. So how y'all doing? I see y'all in here. I see Riley. I see you, Riley. Yeah. Whose book is that? This book, How to Be an Adult in Relationships. For some of you all just coming in, it's the 5 Keys of Mindful Loving. Hey, everybody. I'm Dr. Alicia. I'm a therapist and a college professor, and I'm here today to talk about healthy relationships. Specifically, I'm talking about conflict. This is our last day with how to deal with conflict, and we are talking about the needy child operating from a needy child versus operating as a healthy adult. And now y'all know how to deal with conflict in a healthy way, how to deal with your triggers. You just look at what happened, you write it down on a piece of paper, and then you stop and think about the triggers. You separate distance, mindful communication, very mindful in how you interact even with yourself, and understanding that someone leaving you could bring up abandonment issues. It can bring up all of these issues for you. So this is so important to keep this in mind. And I think he's going to talk about how to communicate that with your partner. But we'll talk about that later. Let's see, what else do I want to tell you guys? Oh, I like for you guys to text the word love, LOVE, to 87948. Text the word love to 87948. You get all sorts of cool stuff. I was talking to Boyce today about information that I'm going to share with you guys about healthy relationships. So make sure you get on that mailing list. I think that would be the text list. It'll be some really cool things coming your way. Also, follow me on Instagram and TikTok if you want. Instagram is where I post the most. And so I'll be reinforcing messages on my Instagram. So please follow me there. How y'all doing? I see some of y'all coming in here. I like Clean Coochie Beats. How you doing? Adult Decibels. Yes. Yes. Juanita, how you doing? Embrace the pain. Pain is terrible, but guess what? Pain is inevitable. We agree. When all of us decide to place ourselves in our bodies. So I'm not Alicia. I'm just a sentient being living as Alicia right now. When I agreed for this, when I agreed to do this, you also agreed to pain. So experiencing pain is just a given in being human, but you don't have to suffer from it. And too many times we're suffering from stuff. What are y'all talking about, Elaine? Hi, Kevin. I was wondering too. Dr. Boyce says, I'm an overachiever. Oh, I don't know. Oh, gosh. Does he say that about me? It takes one to know one. That's what I'll say. He's calling me an overachiever. He's the one. But anyway, I won't get into that. So we're continuing on. We have discussed here how to space the problem. We've talked about distinguishing need from neediness. Oh my goodness. That's so important. So we're on page 167 and we're talking about, I can see clearly now, the day is done. How to see clearly. That's the next, seeing clearly. How do we do that in conflict, in relationships? How do we do this in an adult way? Adult way. Okay, moving on. Seeing clearly. Probably the only issues that we treat matter-of-factly without melodrama or strong reaction are the ones with no connection to our past. Bam. So when you're making a mountain out of a molehill, it's linked to past. He just said it. Probably. He's saying probably because he's a therapist and he needs to not make out and out statements, but I think it's more than just probably. Definitely. The issues that we treat matter-of-factly, no melodrama, no strong reaction, and are the ones with no connection to our past. How about that? So our reaction to relationship issues corresponds to unprocessed pain from our past. That's what he's saying. How about that? And you know it's connected to something in your past because you make a big deal out of it. Hello. I see these conversations. Oh my goodness. We got all these conversations. Riley is not letting the submission conversation go. Oh my gosh, Riley. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. I have thoughts about it, but I haven't. I'm going to reserve it for that conversation. I see you, Riley. Okay. Anyway, so this is what he's saying. The ones we shrug our shoulders about, there's no connection to the past. Admit to yourself that there is an element in most of your charged issues that harkens back to your past. You need to admit it. Admit it, because that's what's going on. Come on out with it. You got to admit it to yourself. Admit that that's what's happening. It's hearkening back to the past. List in your journal, pull your journals out, list in your journal some ways you may be keeping the past alive so that it sabotages your present relationships. What is it that you keep conjuring up over and over again, just getting it going? You could be projecting things onto your partner that your partner is not doing because it's unresolved issues that you haven't done. Projecting it onto the other person. Look at yourself first. Emily Dickinson. You know this is great when Emily Dickinson's they quoting Emily Dickinson. You know what she said? She wrote, "The shapes we buried dwell about, familiar in the rooms." I love poetry because this is very insightful. She is saying, the shapes we buried, the shapes that we buried, it dwells about, familiar in the rooms. So you think that the shapes, I think the shapes represents, the shapes symbolize this unresolved emotional patterns and experiences that linger within us. Those are the shapes. We think we buried them, but they still live in the room. So what it's saying is that the past, although seemingly buried, continues to influence the present, particularly in relationships. It lingers within us and subtly affects how we connect with others. Sometimes we sabotage relationships. Why? Because we're scared to get close. Why? Because everybody we get who's close to us hurts us in a way, and we never process that. So in order to see clearly in relationships, we have to recognize how these imprints from the past, recognize them, address them within self-awareness, and you got to be honest with yourself in order to do it. Stop lying to yourself, because you're carrying the weight of these unhealed wounds. They're buried. Unexamined habits. It clouds your judgment. You can't even look at things that are going on. It's distorted. Cognitive distortions are real things. Unhealthy dynamics. And you have to confront and process these internal shapes that Emily Dickinson is talking about that can build relationships grounded. And that's how you get clarity and authenticity. Old fears and patterns can no longer dictate some of these new connections when you confront it. That's how you get intimacy. And that's how you're free from the shadows of the past. Thank you, Emily Dickinson. The shapes we bury dwell about, familiar in the rooms. Familiar. We recognize it. It's familiar to us. It's unconscious, by the way. It's an unconscious process. So you have to bring it up to the conscious. It's lingering. When something's lingering underneath, that's an unconscious thing. Okay. Moving along. When we find ourselves reacting sharply to someone's behavior or words, we may be acting appropriately, or we may be overreacting. When this happens, it is helpful to SEEC. That is, we ask ourselves, is it my shadow? Is it my ego? Or is it early life issues? You need to recognize when you're overreacting. Now, sometimes he's saying, sometimes you're not overreacting, and it has nothing to do with SEE. Shadow, what's SEE? Shadow, ego, and early life experiences. Wow. So when you find yourselves sharply reacting to someone's behaviors or words, that's when you need to become more mindful. That's when you need to say, it is worth pausing to consider if our reaction is rooted in some present situation, or if it stems from something deeper within us. And to do this, what he's saying is that we need to figure out, is it my shadow? Is it my ego? Is it this early life issue? And reflect on this. That's really interesting. I think, what do I think about that? So what could be a scenario? Let's give an example. Maybe I'm, Boyce and I are carrying on, and he forgets. Boyce can be very forgetful sometimes. So maybe he forgets our anniversary. Boyce, what's our wedding anniversary? And he totally forgets our anniversary, which he wouldn't do. But if he did, that would hurt my feelings, right? You find yourself feeling hurt deeply. Maybe I can react angrily, or maybe I could really go overboard. You forgot our anniversary. How dare you? And I could just get upset and just lose it and feel deeply hurt. Maybe I'm crying, or maybe I'm just acting out in a way. And so what he's saying is that, could it be my shadow? So one question that you may ask, could it be your shadow? Could it be maybe it's triggered because there's an underlying fear, let's see, for him to forget our anniversary. Maybe I feel like I have an insecurity that maybe I'm not important enough to him. Maybe I feel like Boyce is so, hypothetically, I don't think this, but maybe hypothetically you can feel your partner feels like everything else is more important than you. and that's why he forgot. If I was as important to him, if he really loved me the way he said he did, he wouldn't have forgotten our anniversary. You're attaching all of these things to the fact that someone just forgot your anniversary. Yeah, Kevin, he doesn't do this. He wouldn't. Kevin is thinking is real. No, Kevin, he never did this to me. But I'm just saying, hypothetically, well, let me just take him out of it. Okay, so 2 people are dating, and one person forgets the anniversary, and they get upset, and they respond to it sharply. Oh my goodness. What are you doing? You forgot our anniversary. That means you really don't love me. That means I'm unimportant to you. This could be past insecurities, feeling as if you felt unimportant in the past and you never dealt with that pain. And so as soon as your partner forgets your anniversary, the first thing you do is put your hand up and be like, oh my goodness, he doesn't really love me like he said he would. You're forgetting about all of the day-to-day things that they've done to show you that they love you, but you're putting so much on this important date, anniversary. That's the shadow, right? You're carrying along with you things that are buried, which is really, I'm not important. So maybe when you were growing up, someone in your past forgot your birthday, or someone in your past forgot to pick you up, or maybe you felt overlooked as a child. Maybe you felt unloved or unimportant, and it's coming up in your shadow side. It carries with you. Maybe it's your ego. Maybe, so that's S-E. Maybe it's your ego. Maybe your sense of importance. You need to be important and acknowledged. You need to have this, and you feel bruised because he forgot your anniversary, or perhaps it's an early life issue, what I just talked about, feelings of being neglected, feelings of experiences from childhood that are resurfacing in this moment. And so what he's asking you to do is to pause, to explore some of these things. You identify in yourself the true source of your emotions, because it can't just be this one moment. Emily Dickinson said, the shapes you bury still lingers in the room currently. You think it's gone, but it's still playing itself out. Shadow, ego, early life issues. Yes, Jen. Oh my gosh, that's what it is. So you need to run these conversations in your head to get a deeper understanding. And I'm thinking that you need to open the communication with your partner and share this with your partner. And hopefully you have a healthy relationship so that your partner hears that, and there's empathy and there's mutual respect as a response. Y'all gonna get this. Y'all gonna get this. Yeah. So let's see. What do they say? So he's saying the S-E-E, shadow. The shadow. The shadow is part of us that we disown, that we repress and deny, while we project it onto others. Projecting it onto others. It may be our shadow speaking when we notice others doing something that we would do, but we cannot admit that we would. We despise seeing the other, what is unconscious in ourselves. Our work is to befriend our shadow by acknowledging our own projection and reclaiming them onto yours. Wow. So looking at your shadow, it's really interesting. Now I will tell a real story. When Boyce and I got married, and we started dating or whatever and making our relationship public, people automatically assumed, oh, she only with him for his money. And I'd be like, I'm with him for his money. They know nothing about me. They know nothing about our relationship. They don't. I'm with him for his money. You haven't looked at my checking account. So how do you know I don't have no money? They just assume certain things. But really what they're doing, they're projecting their shadow on our relationship, something they would do. So it speaks more about how they think about themselves. So I think I'll say it like that. Hello. So that's what people do. They project things onto other people, situations that is true in their own life that they can't handle. So it takes one to know one. If you think I'm only with Boyce for his money, then maybe you with your partner for their money. So maybe it's a shadow that you're projecting onto because you don't know me. You don't know me. You don't live with me. You don't know how situations are. And I never really felt the need to defend it because I don't really care, you know. So yes, I think that's what it's about. So that's the shadow. What are you projecting on other people? The ego. As we have already seen, the ego is neurotic and inappropriate when it is driven by fear of not being accepted or by arrogance, retaliation, or entitlement. We have a bruised ego when we say, how dare you do this to me? Or I'll get you for this. I'm going to get you back for this. That's your ego talking. Don't you realize who I am? Why are you treating me this way? So yes, ego is the enemy. Thank you, Mike. Ego is the enemy. It's like, how dare you? Don't you know who I am? Get into ego creates nothing but fights, nothing but confusion. Ego stuff is really awful. Okay, and the other E, so it's shadow, ego, and the third E is early life issues. We may be reacting to early unfinished business if we find ourselves thinking, you are replicating what was done to me in childhood. I see you recreating a scenario from the past that is highly charged for me. I am reacting to the present to a stimulus from the past. It feels like resemblance. Keats remarks, speaking of the ease of writing certain lines of poetry, how much of what we feel is just like that. Transactions that seem to be taking place in the here and now are actually throwbacks to the past in all three of these ways. All three of these ways. Take a recent experience with someone who distressed you. Okay, y'all. In the chat, write down a recent experience of someone who distressed you. I can think of several, several experiences. So write them down. Yes, Michael. History is repeating itself. It can. It always, if you don't learn from it, isn't that what they say? If you don't learn from history, it will repeat itself. So write down, if y'all care to, in the chat, write down something someone did to you to irritate you. What they do. What they do. Okay. So write down, ask yourself, does he upset me because I'm projecting my shadow? Lied on me. Okay. So is Trump going to be Caesar since Trump wants to be a dictator? He showed us want to be a dictator. Lied, stole my stuff. Woo, boy. Upset. Riley, you are so hilarious. I love you, Riley. Yes, you are so funny. Okay, so things that someone does that upsets you. Yes. Picking on African nation. We're going to talk about politics, but not today. Okay. Stop distracting me from the chat. Y'all are interested. Being lied to. Yes, Mobetta Brown. Yes. Distracting. Okay. So lied to you, told on you, stole your stuff, all of the stuff that happens to you that should not have happened to you. You need to feel pain, right? The pain of that. And it's grief because you thought you could trust somebody and you couldn't. They stole your stuff. They lied on you. They disrespected you. All of those things that they did, you thought you could trust them. But what he's saying you need to do, ask yourself, does he upset me because I'm projecting my shadow onto him and seeing the worst of myself in him? Am I reacting this way because my entitled ego is outraged? Am I having all of these feelings because something from my early life is being resurrected? The same SEE technique is useful for exploring any of our attitudes, beliefs, reactions, biases, or causes for upset. Make an ongoing commitment to SEE, the three aspects within, to bring them out into the open. Why did you trust somebody that you had no business trusting? What is going on that you didn't see the red flags? What did you ignore that you didn't ignore? I mean, there are a lot of questions that happen. So it's interesting because I don't think he's blaming the victim. What I'm thinking he's saying to you is to take control of when somebody does something to you that they didn't do to you. When you're an adult, when you're a child, you need people to protect you. But when you're an adult, you take responsibility for that. And I always do. Like when someone does something and they throw me off and I'm like, woo, I didn't know that. I always take inventory. What did I miss? What is it that I didn't do? Okay, maybe my ego got me trusting this person because I assumed certain things about someone and I didn't do it. Trust takes time. You have to earn somebody's trust. You can't just trust somebody out and out. So maybe I'm too trusting. Where did I learn to be too trusting? These are the things you have to look at. You really do need to look at yourself with all your problems. It's true. It really is true. Every problem I have, I always have to look at myself. Always. Okay. Make an ongoing commitment to SEE, these 3 suspects within, to bring them out into the open. Yes. Okay. Sometimes we act upset, and it is not the shadow or the ego or even early material. Upset sometimes means grieved. We are sad because something has not gone our way, or something or someone has hurt or disappointed us. So sometimes we need to process the grief attached to that disappointment. Grief is a reaction when we fail to recognize, admit, or feel. We prefer to use anger to cover up the grief. Am I too trusting? Yes, Carter. For instance, we may be upset because our partner doesn't speak up about her feelings toward us, so we are always guessing at her reactions. We may react angrily when our bedrock reaction may be grief, that she cannot be sincere and open with us. The most frequently disguised feeling in a relationship is grief. Yes, the most. The disappointment that you feel, you have to grieve it because you're like, I expected something else and my expectations weren't met. And it's okay to have expectations in relationship. The most frequently disguised feelings in relationship is grief. Coming to the terms of the fact that your partner is not perfect. You have to grieve that because when you're first dating, you think that your partner is perfect and you have to grieve the fact that your partner is not perfect. So this makes sense to me. So it is useful to look there first for our authentic inner reaction to painful stimuli. It hurts. You have to grieve that. Trade griefs with your partner. So the last exercise he has, take turns completing this sentence. I am sad when you blank. And you may want to add, and I hide my sadness by, I like that. Having these conversations with your partner about what they do that makes you sad and how you cover it up. I also think it's important to ask for what you want in your relationship. Invite that person to give you what you want. And remember, they 100% can't do it. Yes, Jen, I am sad when you, and I hide my sadness by, sometimes we hide. Or I'm mad at you, or I'm grieving this. I'm grieving the fact that I thought my husband would be able to do XYZ and you didn't. And so I'm grieving this and that makes me sad. And how I hide my sadness is this way. Sometimes you joke about it, laugh about it. You hide your sadness in all these different ways. So important. Okay, so he ends with this quote. I love the quotes. Okay, last sentence to chapter 5. It's the great mystery of human life that old grief passes gradually into quiet, tender joy. Quiet, tender joy. Interesting. It is the great mystery of human life that old grief passes gradually into quiet, tender joy. His name is Fyodor Dostoevsky in The Brothers Karamazov. I can't pronounce it, but Dostoevsky's Reflection. So Dostoevsky, I think I'm messing his name up, but what he's saying is that the mystery of life, that old grief passes gradually into quiet, tender joy. That is promising. That's saying it speaks to the potential of transformation inherent in this process of connecting to your grief. We allow ourselves to grieve, acknowledge our emotions, explore where it's coming from, the deeper roots of it, and we create space for healing and growth. That's the only way to do it. Remember, David Rico says you have to go through the pain. You have to go through it in order to grow from it. So over time, all of the emotional work that we've been talking about, we really are talking about how you can deal with your own emotional work and how you can use illustrations or issues in your relationship to not fix the other person, but to turn around and try to find out more about yourself. And so that emotional work, according to this quote, is that, yes, Black lexicon, it can lead you to this tender joy. Thank you. You got it, Black lexicon. Tender joy. And that's, to me, what's tender joy for you guys? Oh, wait, tender joy, tender joy. Yes. What does tender joy mean for y'all? For me, it's a sense of peace that emerges, because I think for me, when I explore how I feel about things, I understand myself more. and I understand, and because I understand myself more, I understand relationships more. And sometimes I feel disappointed. Like, I get disappointed all the time because I have expectations. But I think this sort of perspective that we're talking about today reminds us that pain can be an opportunity for renewal. It can enable us to have a stronger connection with other people. Empathy, forgiveness, love, all of that is connecting with who and what you are. That's what I say. And guess what? And that's the end of chapter 5. Chapter 5, this is, David Rico, How to Be an Adult in Relationships. He's tricky. He just ended the chapter talking about how to deal with conflict. And really, how to deal with conflict is how to deal with your inner conflict. Oh my gosh, really, David Rico, you're going to have us deal with our own issues. So this says, when you have conflict with a significant other, really what you need to do is make space, separate yourself from it, and stop and be mindful of how you're reacting. It's your responsibility to do this. And hopefully, if you're in a healthy relationship, your partner will do this with you so that both of you guys can grow together. Yes, Margaret. Margaret, this is beautiful. She says, I'm sad when you don't take my words seriously, and I hide my sadness by shutting down, shutting down, burying it deep inside. Thank you. That is beautiful. You should share that with your partner. Hopefully you have a nice, empathetic partner who will do the same, who will say, talk about all the different pain places. Yes, Nalisha, yes. So anyway, we're done with chapter 5. We're going on to chapter 6. Let's see, am I busy next weekend? What am I doing next? I'm not busy, so I'll be back. I got nothing going on, but you don't know. In my world, something could pop up. But if nothing pops up, I'll be back. I'll be back here next Sunday on the 23rd, and we'll be on to chapter 6 of How to Be an Adult in Relationships, the 5 Keys to Mindful Loving. Thank you, David Rico. He did a wonderful job. I love this book. And we're at chapter 6, so we're almost at the end of the book. So we need to start thinking about what our next book is going to be. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I really appreciate you all. I love the chat. Y'all are so great. Don't forget, there's my website, coachingwithdralicia.com. You can fill that out. Don't forget to text, Lord. Don't forget, not morning. Don't forget to text love to 87948. Morning, I think that's Boyce's text. Mine is love. Text love to 87948. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Coaching with Dr. Alicia. And there's my website if you need to meet with me. I appreciate everybody. Goodbye, everyone. See you next week.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You are tuned to the Madam President Morning Show. Let me play my theme song. All right. Let's get us up and going. That's just number one. But before we move forward, let's give God his praise, his thank you. Let's say a quick prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for waking us up today, allowing us to see the day. You know the needs of all of your children, dear God. We just ask that you show up in our life in an exceptional way, dear God. Give us the peace that we need. Give us the financial freedom that we need. Give us the power that we need. We come to you for all things because through you it is possible. In your name we pray. Amen. All right. And I also want God to touch my tongue in a very sensitive conversation. Today we are having the conversation. I'm not sure if you saw this, but En Vogue. You all remember En Vogue. Oh my God. I loved En Vogue when I was growing up. I was just like, what's it gonna be? Because I can't pretend. Oh no. I mean, like, I'm no singer, but I kid you not. It was just like En Vogue. In fact, I have an En Vogue story, okay? When I was about maybe 7th grade, me and my sister, we're 4 years apart, but me and my sister, we used to meet my grandmother downtown Chicago sometimes during the summer, okay? We used to meet my grandmother at work, maybe around lunchtime. You know, we caught the bus. So probably, let's just say, you know, whatever the age group is for 7th grade, 12, you know, and my sister 8. And we would catch the bus. And one day we were headed to go see my grandmother downtown. And she worked in a city building and there was a record store. Wow, a record store. There was a record store inside of the building. Well, one day I see these people lined up and I'm like, Mom, what's going on? My grandma, she's just like, I don't know, somebody here. So it was in vogue. So the funny thing is my mother had gave me like $25 for me and my sister. Look at the times. $25 could feed 2 kids. So my mom had gave us like $25 so that we could genuinely just, have lunch. I took that $20, stood in line, and got a CD, an En Vogue CD, and had them sign it. And my grandmother and I, we all laughed about it because it was like, you took your sister money too, you can't do that. So there was always some lesson I had to learn growing up. But the point was, these people were in the prime of their life. Let me ask you something. Have you all considered that you could be in the prime of your life? I don't know if you all even think about this, but if you're 40 years old, you're never going to be 40 forever. Are you in the prime of your life? Those are questions we have to ask ourselves. Are we in our prime? Anyways, they were in the prime of their life. So when I saw this video circulating around the internet, it hit me. And I asked God to protect the conversation about it, because there is never a time where people experience hardship that I want to be cruel. And I want to take on this idea of all you needed to do was. I am in no position to tell a person what they need to do in the hardest time of their life, right? Now, I do know some things about taking steps, right? So if you're trying to get from here to here, you can jump here. It's going to be a lot harder. But if you start going from here to here to here to here, you get there, right? So sorry about that illustration. It's not that good, but that's all I had in front of me. So the point I want to make is, I'm going to show you this video, and I want you to see it for yourself. You know my motto. All right, here we go.
I was like, okay. He's like, I don't have a lot. You guys, for the past almost 3 years, I have been living in my car. I said it. Oh my God, it's out. I've been living in my car. Oh my gosh. If you remember, if you guys were with me, in 2020, I did like 105,000 interviews. And in the interim, I was living with my parents in Vegas. And that was wonderful until it wasn't. I love my mom, but she became very angry. And a lot of her anger, she was taking out on me, and I was her target all the time. And I was like, I can't deal with this. Like, I respect her too much. Let me get out of here. And I was sleeping in my car for maybe about a month in Vegas. And then the guy that was co-managing me at the time was living in LA. And he said, you need to come back to LA. Okay. And he said that I could stay with him. And so I was like, okay. He's like, I don't have a lot of room, but I'll make room for you. And then when I got to his place, he actually didn't have room for me. So it turned into, okay, well, I'm going to put you in a hotel for the night. And that one night turned into 8 months. Oh my God, you guys, because every apartment that I looked at, every single time I looked at a place, I would call him and I'm like, okay, can you meet me here? I would tell him ahead of time, of course. And then he wouldn't meet me there. And so I would take video and send it to him. And he's like, no, oh my God, this neighborhood, I hate it. I mean, I felt like he was playing games, and I knew he was playing games, and I wasn't the one. I'm like, come on, I'm trying to make this easier on you, because financially, I know it's got to be hard. You're paying your rent and you're paying my hotel. His apartment was $1,700 a month. And then my hotel was over $3,000. Yeah. So, and I was always stressed every week because he would pay weekly for the hotel. So every week I was like, oh my God, can you afford it? Are you okay? And he's like, no, I can't, but I'm getting it together. What? You're the one who said to go to the hotel, and you're not approving any of the apartments. Like, it would be so much cheaper to just get me into an apartment. Like, what's the problem? You guys, for the past almost 3 years, I have been living in my car.
All right. Did you see where she said, what's the problem? I don't know how much active assistance was there. So 2 things we want to discuss really quickly. But before I do anything, I want to remind you that you tune to flynubianmoney.com. This is where you go when you want to grow, when you want to get your money up, when you want to get your mind up. Go to flynubianmoney.com. If you want to stay connected to the ladies, what's happening in real time in media, text Queens to 87948. Text Queens to 87948. All right. So I want to talk about what she mentioned really quickly, because she says that, first of all, let's give it up for the brother. I don't know who he is, where he at, but we want to give him a round of applause. You know, the reason why we got to give him a round of applause is because he was really trying to help. He was really trying to help. Now she says that he's her ex-manager, but here's the reality. You know, he could have been trying to really reestablish himself, as well as put her name out there into a space where it's like, I really think that this can move, you know, but it takes time. I really think this can move. This is why the record label, they sign you big old checks, you know, and you never get your money at the end, because if you live off them, they're going to get it. They're going to release your music. They're going to hold on to your music. You ain't going to see that. That's why you don't get no masters, or some people, because they want to ensure that they get paid, because paying for your living expenses is expensive. Here's another thing. Well, let's talk about, are you in the prime of your life? Being in the prime of your life, I don't know how often people are prepared, being in their prime, to not be in the prime. So it's like, this is the thing about fame. Fame will make you believe. Look, think about your favorite artists and think about how big they were. Then they had to go, and now Beyonce's here. If En Vogue was in a room and Beyonce was in a room, people wouldn't even notice En Vogue. You know what I'm talking about, certain people, young people. This is the challenge, because you have to grow as an artist and your audience have to grow too. But we as a people, and I think to myself, how does it get to this place right here? You all remember the young man, not even young man, but the man out who played on the Cosby Show, Alvin. He was bagging groceries and people were giving him a hard time. This man was taking care of himself. He was doing what was required and necessary to meet his needs, to take care of himself. But you got to remember, as an actor and a singer, they're not like your average accountant. Your average accountant go to work, do the job, and they get paid on Friday or every two weeks. That's what happens. They go, they handle the business, they clock out, and they get paid, right? That don't happen when you are an actor. When you're an actor, you spend your time auditioning. You don't get paid to audition, but you go everywhere. Hey, man, you got a show for me? You got to work. So this is a challenging industry. This is why back in the day, your grandmama would be like, don't be in no entertainment now. You can't go around doing no music, because the chances of victory behind it was always so slim. And we're not going to get into how the music industry literally exhausts the resources of our people. This is one of the reasons why in the music industry, in the entertainment industry, all of these industries are predominantly on the business side, Jewish communities. The distribution, don't get into the accounting, don't get into the royalties. And I want you to see what Slim Thug had to say about her royalties. Let me play this right here. Here you go.
Getting enough money to pay some rent around it. Bold chick living out her car. Never should she do that. Look at her hit she made. Off them hits, she would still be getting enough money to pay some rent around this. I get a monthly check every month. There's some work out there at 2 o'clock. I gotta start pulling up at this time. Yeah, I get a monthly check every month. If them people own they would be able to pay for something. with that chick, you know what I'm saying? And people are on your forever. Now, motherfucker, it need to be like if you do a deal with a record label, they got 5 years to eat off that shit, and they got to give you back. Right now, it's some 20 years, and there's a lot of stipulations that they really be f***ing over you. But it should be 5 years and then, take it back. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no way they ain't get their money back in 5 years.
So I think what he made was a good point. Like these labels, they have to maybe keep your stuff for about 5 years, you know, then release it so you can take it somewhere else. Even in these contracts, you know, sometimes those deals, they sign those deals, you with a label 20 years. Well, I ain't gonna be with you no 20 years. We ain't doing nothing. So this is a beastly industry, but I want to talk about the community side of this. How do a person? Well, the reality is, how do you get to this place and feel like you have nowhere to go and feel like you do not have any resources, right? So, you know, I got with Chad, and let's see what Chad said about why would a celebrity have financial struggles. And all right, ChatGPT says this. Here are 5 reasons why a celebrity like Don Robinson might experience shame and emotional stress over financial hardships, which could contribute not sharing their difficulties publicly. People are going through hard things, ladies and gentlemen. I want you all to have an understanding and put hard times in the chat. People are going through hard times. It don't matter who you are, where you're from. Life can be changing in a moment. And I want you all to have all the necessary resources so that when life does change on us, we are well. Some folks can't miss no check on Friday. You know, they can't miss no check for 4 weeks. They're going to be in the car. And then we have a system and a society that's unforgiving. We are forgiving. Donald Trump can file bankruptcy 7 times. They still play golf with him. Let you file bankruptcy. Your grandma and them, they sitting around calling Mississippi, talking about you messed up. You ain't messed up. That's a lie. This system is knocking folks down left and right, and we don't have enough strength to stand up on it the way we stand up against each other. So let me just finish, because y'all know how I get. It's early in the morning. I'm trying to stay cool. All right, public image and expectations. Celebrities are often held to very high standards by the public and the media. Their lifestyle is expected to reflect success and wealth, and any deviation can be seen as a failure. Admitting financial struggles might conflict with the glamorous image that has been cultivated over years, leading to embarrassment and fear of judgment. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what they said. I want to stop. I want you all to hear me. They just told you fear and judgment have to live in glamour. Them Gucci bags you can't live in, sis. You can't live in the Gucci bag. Stop sweating people about bags and stupid stuff. You can't live in that. You can't live in it, sleep in it, wake up and have warm water behind it. Knock it off. But this is a social thing, because even if you're in a celebrity status, that's what Chat said that society, if you don't have the look of wealth, I see it online. I see it online all the time. When people don't look like they get money, we don't want to hear from them. You got to have that look about you. Yeah, why? Why you gotta have it? Why you gotta have a look about you as it relates to wealth? But here's the thing about that. It says any deviation can be seen as failure. Look how they just did T-Pain. The man was flying on a Delta plane. These silly kids asked this man why he ain't flying private. These are people asking a person why he ain't flying private, and they will never in their life fly private. You don't even have nobody in your bandwidth, in your arm's length. You don't even have nobody arm's length in your life that'll help you get to a private flight status. Get your head out of the clouds. We have done this to our people. Our sister in a car sleeping, distressed, her own life. Now, her life choices, could be some pride in there. It could be some pride in there. Just, hey, man, I just can't go and ask anyone else. Yeah, people got pride. You think people want to ask people for things? You think people want to say, hey, I know I was supposed to be famous, but I got, I'm out. I'm out of money. I'm out of time. Give me some assistance. I don't know if you can help me find a job. I don't know if you can help me. And then guess what? If you're a singer and you know in your mind and in your heart that you're supposed to be a singer, you think this woman gonna want to go and be a cashier? And she knows that she's a singer? We ask the Creator. This is why I believe the higher power is so important. The higher power is so important than what we think. You got to go to the Creator. You got to go to your Father, because you think you can go to Barack Obama? You think you can go to Michelle Obama and give them your sad story? In the words of Farrakhan, I am going to the Most High. That's where I'm taking my problems. Even the guru on the planet got the power of God. Nobody in this world has the power of God. I'm going to everybody on everything. If my Father has many mansions, I have access to them. How do I get it? But you can't get caught up in this stuff. People will ruin you. People will ruin you. And you allow people to ruin everything on the inside of you too. So anyways, I want to finish telling you what it says. This was really big. Loss of status. Loss of status. It says this right here. In the entertainment industry, perceived wealth can be linked to status and opportunities. Celebrities might fear that disclosing financial hardship could result in losing roles, endorsements, or invitations to high-profile events, further isolating them from their professional community. Further isolating them from their professional community. Further isolating them from their professional community. That means that your community is fake and is weak, because you're going through the hardest time in your life and you can't even be around them. But I know the feeling. I know the feeling. I work in TV and film. I was out of work for a whole year. You think I was about to get on here and start talking to y'all how I got to call and figure out what my 401k is and how to go into my annuity? You think I ain't going to sit up and talk about that? It creates further isolation. But I grew up in a household of faith. I grew up in a household where people believed in God. I believe in a household where Tyler Perry, he ain't got nothing on God. Oprah Winfrey ain't got nothing on God. So I grew up in that kind of place. Them folks, they can't make me feel big and they can't make me feel small. All right. So this is important too. Not being invited to high profile events. You think this woman want to go to events with her friends and she don't have nowhere to sleep? No, I'm not gonna party with y'all. I ain't going to nobody's house on the hills. This is the community that we've created. This is the society that we have created. I don't want you all to think that you don't have a contribution into how the world is ran. We have a contribution. We have to be more kind, more careful, more generous, even with our tongue. And trust me, I know I can be rough with the words. All right, so another thing that keeps this fear of exploitation. Why would a person, a celebrity, not want to share what's going on? There's a risk. It says right here, I want to make sure that you all can see this. Fear of exploitation. There's a risk that financial vulnerability could be exploited by individuals or business. They may receive unfavorable deals or loans with high interest rates from those looking to capitalize on their desperate situation. Cultural and social stigma. There's often a stigma attached to financial failure, especially in cultures that equate success to financial wealth. This was important when I saw this. Cultural and social stigma. There's often a stigma attached to financial failure, especially in cultures that equate success with financial wealth. Admitting to financial struggles can feel like admitting to a lack of personal capability, leading to internalized shame and reluctance to seek help or even confide in close friends and family. There was something that I want you all to walk away with here, and that is when they said the stigma attached to financial failure, especially in a culture that equates success with financial wealth. We have to understand that you're doing well. We have to stop looking at people as successful only when they have money. I look at a single mother who goes to work, who helps her children with their homework, who try to put their children in softball and all these things and try to feed them some good nutrition and still try to manage a decent life. I consider that to be just as successful as a woman who sold out an arena. Why would I believe that there's only one vision of success? If God created all these different people and all these different personalities, why would I believe that that success is linear? It's one-dimensional. I look at a brother who makes $60,000 a year, who, whether he's single or married, he take care of himself. He ain't no alcoholic. He ain't no rapist. He ain't no child molester. That's a successful man to me. Everybody ain't finna be Gucci down. Everybody ain't finna be rocking Fendi and Prada. And none of that matters. None of it. We are successful. You are successful. Believe it and know it for yourself so you can start understanding the power that you have and how successful you really are. This woman sold out seats in major arenas in her lifetime. That ain't enough. If I was her friend, I would say, Dawn, please come and stay in my guest room. I would say, Dawn, please come have dinner with us. Oh, Dawn, please tell me a story. I find that to be successful. That's success. I wish you all get around some people that's truly successful and have comfort in the life that they live. So you can stop feeling shame about what you don't have. All right, you know what? It's our time. I believe Dr. Boyce Watkins, he's coming on next with Money in the Morning. He does this behind me. 11 a.m. is Constance Carter. 1 p.m. is your Girls Fly Nubian Money. I'm Madam President. I do this every single Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We ask the Creator to bless Dawn in all her circumstances. All of us. We ask God to bless all of us. Keep all of our checks flowing. Keep all of our money coming in. We ask that God bless us to be a blessing to others. God, give us abundance so that we never have to look at any of our finances and think hard when it comes to be helpful to others. We ask the Creator to guide us. And the man who helped Dawn in her time of need, we ask God to bless him. He tried to do a good deed. Well, I don't know all the details, but anytime you're paying somebody's hotel bill, you're trying to figure out for 8 months, that's a man that tried to help you. And we honor that. We don't look down on that. How many of y'all can pay somebody's hotel bill, every week for 8 months? Make that man play. Okay? Him first. All right. If you want to support Madam President, don't forget, check out Matters of the Heart. That's my new book. It's downloadable or hard copy. Matters of the Heart. In fact, I want to share that with you. Matters of the Heart. Check it out. You can go to madampresident.com. I got my own site, y'all. Go to madampresident.com, and in there you will see Matters of the Heart by Madam President. You could get a free journal. You can get a free journal. You could, buy my ebook. Check out my store. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I just appreciate you all being with me this morning. All right, I'm going to let you go. Have a good day. All right, bye-bye. All right, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. You are tuned to the Madam President Morning Show. Let me play my theme song. All right. Let's get us up and going. That's just number one. But before we move forward, let's give God his praise, his thank you. Let's say a quick prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for waking us up today, allowing us to see the day. You know the needs of all of your children, dear God. We just ask that you show up in our life in an exceptional way, dear God. Give us the peace that we need. Give us the financial freedom that we need. Give us the power that we need. We come to you for all things because through you it is possible. In your name we pray. Amen. All right. And I also want God to touch my tongue in a very sensitive conversation. Today we are having the conversation. I'm not sure if you saw this, but En Vogue. You all remember En Vogue. Oh my God. I loved En Vogue when I was growing up. I was just like, what's it gonna be? Because I can't pretend. Oh no. I mean, like, I'm no singer, but I kid you not. It was just like En Vogue. In fact, I have an En Vogue story, okay? When I was about maybe 7th grade, me and my sister, we're 4 years apart, but me and my sister, we used to meet my grandmother downtown Chicago sometimes during the summer, okay? We used to meet my grandmother at work, maybe around lunchtime. You know, we caught the bus. So probably, let's just say, you know, whatever the age group is for 7th grade, 12, you know, and my sister 8. And we would catch the bus. And one day we were headed to go see my grandmother downtown. And she worked in a city building, and there was a record store. Wow, a record store. There was a record store inside of the building. Well, one day I see these people lined up and I'm like, Mom, what's going on? My grandma, she's just like, I don't know, somebody here. So it was in vogue. So the funny thing is my mother had gave me like $25 for me and my sister. Look at the times. $25 could feed 2 kids. So my mom had gave us like $25 so that we could genuinely just, have lunch. I took that $20, stood in line, and got a CD, an En Vogue CD, and had them sign it. And my grandmother and I, we all laughed about it because it was like, you took your sister money too, you can't do that. So there was always some lesson I had to learn growing up. But the point was, these people were in the prime of their life. Let me ask you something. Have you all considered that you could be in the prime of your life? I don't know if you all even think about this, but if you're 40 years old, you're never going to be 40 forever. Are you in the prime of your life? Those are questions we have to ask ourselves. Are we in our prime? Anyways, they were in the prime of their life. So when I saw this video circulating around the internet, it hit me. And I asked God to protect the conversation about it, because there is never a time where people experience hardship that I want to be cruel. And I want to take on this idea of all you needed to do was. I am in no position to tell a person what they need to do in the hardest time of their life, right? Now, I do know some things about taking steps, right? So if you're trying to get from here to here, you can jump here. It's going to be a lot harder. But if you start going from here to here to here to here, you get there, right? So sorry about that illustration. It's not that good, but that's all I had in front of me. So the point I want to make is, I'm going to show you this video, and I want you to see it for yourself. You know my motto. All right, here we go.
I was like, okay. He's like, I don't have a lot. You guys, for the past almost 3 years, I have been living in my car. I said it. Oh my God, it's out. I've been living in my car. Oh my gosh. If you remember, if you guys were with me, in 2020, I did like 105,000 interviews. And in the interim, I was living with my parents in Vegas. And that was wonderful until it wasn't. I love my mom, but she became very angry. And a lot of her anger, she was taking out on me, and I was her target all the time. And I was like, I can't deal with this. Like, I respect her too much. Let me get out of here. And I was sleeping in my car for maybe about a month in Vegas. And then the guy that was co-managing me at the time was living in LA. And he said, you need to come back to LA. Okay. And he said that I could stay with him. And so I was like, okay. He's like, I don't have a lot of room, but I'll make room for you. And then when I got to his place, he actually didn't have room for me. So it turned into, okay, well, I'm going to put you in a hotel for the night. And that one night turned into 8 months. Oh my God, you guys, because every apartment that I looked at, every single time I looked at a place, I would call him and I'm like, okay, can you meet me here? I would tell him ahead of time, of course. And then he wouldn't meet me there. And so I would take video and send it to him. And he's like, no, oh my God, this neighborhood, I hate it. I mean, I felt like he was playing games, and I knew he was playing games, and I wasn't the one. I'm like, come on, I'm trying to make this easier on you, because financially, I know it's got to be hard. You're paying your rent and you're paying my hotel. His apartment was $1,700 a month. And then my hotel was over $3,000. Yep. So, and I was always stressed every week because he would pay weekly for the hotel. So every week I was like, oh my God, can you afford it? Are you okay? And he's like, no, I can't, but I'm getting it together. What? You're the one who said to go to the hotel, and you're not approving any of the apartments. Like, it would be so much cheaper to just get me into an apartment. Like, what's the problem? You guys, for the past almost 3 years, I have been living in my car.
All right. Did you see where she said, what's the problem? I don't know how much active assistance was there. So 2 things we want to discuss really quickly. But before I do anything, I want to remind you that you're tuned to flynubianmoney.com. This is where you go when you want to grow, when you want to get your money up, when you want to get your mind up. Go to flynubianmoney.com. If you want to stay connected to the ladies, what's happening in real time in media, text Queens to 87948. Text Queens to 87948. All right. So I want to talk about what she mentioned really quickly, because she says that, first of all, let's give it up for the brother. I don't know who he is, where he at, but we want to give him a round of applause. You know, the reason why we got to give him a round of applause is because he was really trying to help. He was really trying to help. Now she says that he's her ex-manager, but here's the reality. You know, he could have been trying to really reestablish himself, as well as put her name out there into a space where it's like, I really think that this can move, you know, but it takes time. I really think this can move. This is why the record label, they sign you big old checks, you know, and you never get your money at the end, because if you live off them, they're going to get it. They're going to release your music. They're going to hold on to your music. You ain't going to see that. That's why you don't get no masters, or some people, because they want to ensure that they get paid, because paying for your living expenses is expensive. Here's another thing. Well, let's talk about, are you in the prime of your life? Being in the prime of your life, I don't know how often people are prepared, being in their prime, to not be in the prime. So it's like, this is the thing about fame. Fame will make you believe. Look, think about your favorite artists and think about how big they were. Then they had to go and now Beyonce's here. If En Vogue was in a room and Beyonce was in a room, people wouldn't even notice En Vogue. You know what I'm talking about, certain people, young people. This is the challenge, because you have to grow as an artist and your audience have to grow too. But we as a people, and I think to myself, how does it get to this place right here? You all remember the young man, not even young man, but the man out who played on the Cosby Show, Alvin. He was bagging groceries and people were giving him a hard time. This man was taking care of himself. He was doing what was required and necessary to meet his needs, to take care of himself. But you got to remember, as an actor and a singer, they're not like your average accountant. Your average accountant go to work, do the job, and they get paid on Friday or every 2 weeks. That's what happens. They go, they handle the business, they clock out, and they get paid, right? That don't happen when you are an actor. When you're an actor, you spend your time auditioning. You don't get paid to audition, but you go everywhere. Hey, man, you got a show for me? You got work? So this is a challenging industry. This is why back in the day, your grandmama would be like, don't be in no entertainment now. You can't go around doing no music, because the chances of victory behind it was always so slim. And we're not going to get into how the music industry literally exhausts the resources of our people. This is one of the reasons why in the music industry, in the entertainment industry, all of these industries are predominantly on the business side, Jewish communities. The distribution, don't get into the accounting, don't get into the royalties. And I want you to see what Slim Thug had to say about her royalties. Let me play this right here. Here you go.
Getting enough money to pay some rent around. Old chick living out her car. Never should she do that. Look at her hit she made. Out them hits, she would still be getting enough money to pay some rent around this bitch. I get a monthly check every month. There's some work out there at 2 o'clock. I gotta start pulling up at this time. Yeah, I get a monthly check every month. If them people own it, they would be able to pay for something with their check, you know what I'm saying? And people are on your forever. Now, it need to be like if you do a deal with a record label, they got 5 years to eat off that shit, and they got to give you back. Right now, it's some 20 years, and there's a lot of stipulations that they really be f***ing over you. But it should be 5 years and then take it back. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no way they ain't get their money back in 5 years.
So I think what he made was a good point. Like these labels, they have to maybe keep your stuff for about 5 years, you know, then release it so you can take it somewhere else. Even in these contracts, you know, sometimes those deals, they sign those deals, you with a label 20 years. Well, I ain't gonna be with you no 20 years. We ain't doing nothing. So this is a beastly industry, but I want to talk about the community side of this. How do a person? Well, the reality is, how do you get to this place and feel like you have nowhere to go and feel like you do not have any resources, right? So, you know, I got with Chad, and let me see what Chad said about why would a celebrity have financial struggles and all right, ChatGPT says this. Here are 5 reasons why a celebrity like Don Robinson might experience shame and emotional stress over financial hardships, which could contribute not sharing their difficulties publicly. People are going through hard things, ladies and gentlemen. I want you all to have an understanding and put hard times in the chat. People are going through hard times. It don't matter who you are, where you from, life can be changing in a moment. And I want you all to have all the necessary resources so that when life does change on us, we are well. Some folks can't miss no check on Friday. You know, they can't miss no check for 4 weeks. They're going to be in the car. And then we have a system and a society that's unforgiving. We are forgiving. Donald Trump can file bankruptcy 7 times. They still play golf with him. Let you file bankruptcy. Your grandma and them, they sitting around calling Mississippi, talking about you messed up. You ain't messed up. That's a lie. This system is knocking folks down left and right, and we don't have enough strength to stand up on it the way we stand up against each other. So let me just finish, because y'all know how I get. It's early in the morning. I'm trying to stay cool. All right, public image and expectations. Celebrities are often held to very high standards by the public and the media. Their lifestyle is expected to reflect success and wealth, and any deviation can be seen as a failure. Admitting financial struggles might conflict with the glamorous image that has been cultivated over years, leading to embarrassment and fear of judgment. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what they said. I want to stop. I want you all to hear me. They just told you, fear and judgment, have to live in glamour. Some Gucci bags you can't live in, sis. You can't live in the Gucci bag. Stop sweating people about bags and stupid stuff. You can't live in that. You can't live in it, sleep in it, wake up and have warm water behind it. Knock it off. But this is a social thing, because even if you're in a celebrity status, that's what Chat said that society, if you don't have the look of wealth, I see it online. I see it online all the time. When people don't look like they get money, we don't want to hear from them. You got to have that look about you. Yeah, why? Why you gotta have it? Why you gotta have a look about you as it relates to wealth? But here's the thing about that. It says any deviation can be seen as failure. Look how they just did T-Pain. The man was flying on a Delta plane These silly kids ask this man why he ain't flying private. These are people asking a person why he ain't flying private, and they will never in their life fly private. You don't even have nobody in your bandwidth, in your arm's length. You don't even have nobody arm's length in your life that'll help you get to a private flight status. Get your head out of the clouds. We have done this to our people. Our sister in a car sleeping, distressed, her own life. Now, her life choices, could be some pride in there. It could be some pride in there. Just, hey, man, I just can't go and ask anyone else. But yeah, people got pride. You think people want to ask people for things? You think people want to say, hey, I know I was supposed to be famous, but I got, I'm out. I'm out of money. I'm out of time. Give me some assistance. I don't know if you can help me find a job. I don't know if you can help me. And then guess what? If you're a singer and you know in your mind and your heart that you're supposed to be a singer, you think this woman gonna want to go and be a cashier? And she knows that she's a singer? We ask the creator. This is why I believe the higher power is so important. The higher power is so important than what we think. You got to go to the creator. You got to go to your father, because you think you can go to Barack Obama? You think you can go to Michelle Obama and give him your sad story? In the words of Farrakhan, I am going to the Most High. That's where I'm taking my problems. Even the guru on the planet got the power of God. Nobody in this world has the power of God. I'm going to everybody on everything. If my father has many mansions, I have access to them. How do I get it? But you can't get caught up in this stuff. People will ruin you. People will ruin you. And you allow people to ruin everything on the inside of you too. So anyways, I want to finish telling you what it says. This was really big. Loss of status. Loss of status. It says this right here. In the entertainment industry, perceived wealth can be linked to status and opportunities. Celebrities might fear that disclosing financial hardship could result in losing roles, endorsements, or invitations to high-profile events, further isolating them from their professional community. Further isolating them from their professional community. Further isolating them from their professional community. That means that your community is fake and is weak, because you're going through the hardest time in your life and you can't even be around them. But I know the feeling. I know the feeling. I work in TV and film. I was out of work for a whole year. You think I was about to get on here and start talking to y'all how I got to call and figure out what my 401k is and how to go into my annuity? You think I am going to sit up and talk about that? It creates further isolation. But I grew up in a household of faith. I grew up in a household where people believed in God. I believe in a household where Tyler Perry, he ain't got nothing on God. Oprah Winfrey ain't got nothing on God. So I grew up in that kind of place. Them folks, they can't make me feel big and they can't make me feel small. All right. So this is important too. Not being invited to high profile events. You think this woman want to go to events with her friends and she don't have nowhere to sleep? No, I'm not gonna party with y'all. I'm going to nobody's house on the hills. This is the community that we've created. This is the society that we have created. I don't want you all to think that you don't have a contribution into how the world is ran. We have a contribution. We have to be more kind, more careful, more generous, even with our tongue. And trust me, I know I can be rough with the words. All right, so another thing that keeps this fear of exploitation. Why would a person, a celebrity, not want to share what's going on? There's a risk. It says right here, I want to make sure that you all can see this. Fear of exploitation. There's a risk that financial vulnerability could be exploited by individuals or business. They may receive unfavorable deals or loans with high interest rates from those looking to capitalize on their desperate situation. Cultural and social stigma. There's often a stigma attached to financial failure, especially in cultures that equate success to financial wealth. This was important when I saw this. Cultural and social stigma. There's often a stigma attached to financial failure, especially in cultures that equate success with financial wealth. Admitting to financial struggles can feel like admitting to a lack of personal capability, leading to internalized shame and reluctance to seek help or even confide in close friends and family. There was something that I want you all to walk away with here, and that is when they said the stigma attached to financial failure, especially in a culture that equates success with financial wealth. We have to understand that you're doing well. We have to stop looking at people as successful only when they have money. I look at a single mother who goes to work, who helps her children with their homework, who try to put their children in softball and all these things and try to feed them some good nutrition and still try to manage a decent life. I consider that to be just as successful as a woman who sold out an arena. Why would I believe that there's only one vision of success? If God created all these different people and all these different personalities, why would I believe that that success is linear? It's one-dimensional. I look at a brother who makes $60,000 a year, who, whether he's single or married, he take care of himself. He ain't no alcoholic. He ain't no rapist. He ain't no child molester. That's a successful man to me. Everybody ain't finna be Gucci down. Everybody ain't finna be rocking Fendi and Prada. And none of that matters. None of it. We are successful. You are successful. Believe it and know it for yourself so you can start understanding the power that you have and how successful you really are. This woman sold out seats in major arenas in her lifetime. That ain't enough. If I was her friend, I would say, Don, please come and stay in my guest room. I would say, Don, please come have dinner with us. Oh, Don, please tell me a story. I find that to be successful. That's success. I wish you all get around some people that's truly successful and have comfort in the life that they live, so you can stop feeling shame about what you don't have. All right, you know what? It's our time. I believe Dr. Boyce Watkins, he's coming on next with Money in the Morning. He does this behind me. 11 a.m. is Constance Carter. 1 p.m. is your Girls Fly Nubian Money. I'm Madam President. I do this every single Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We ask the Creator to bless Dawn in all her circumstances. All of us. We ask God to bless all of us. Keep all of our checks flowing. Keep all of our money coming in. We ask that God bless us to be a blessing to others. God, give us abundance so that we never have to look at any of our finances and think hard when it comes to be helpful to others. We ask the Creator to guide us. And the man who helped Dawn in her time of need, we ask God to bless him. He tried to do a good deed. I don't know all the details, but anytime you're paying somebody's hotel bill, you're trying to figure out for 8 months, that's a man that tried to help you. And we honor that. We don't look down on that. How many of y'all can pay somebody's hotel bill, every week for 8 months? Make that man play, okay? Him first. All right, if you want to support Madam President, don't forget, check out Matters of the Heart. That's my new book. It's downloadable or hard copy. Matters of the Heart. In fact, I want to share that with you. Matters of the Heart. Check it out. You can go to madampresident.com. I got my own site, y'all. Go to madampresident.com, and in there you will see Matters of the Heart by Madam President. You could get a free journal. You can get a free journal. You could, buy my ebook. Check out my store. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I just appreciate you all being with me this morning. All right, I'm going to let you go. Have a good day. All right, bye-bye. Good morning, good morning, good morning. You are tuned to the Madam President Morning Show. I just want to say happy Wednesday. Before I go any further, let me play my theme music. I hope you all had a good night. And before I go any further, I want to make sure I say my prayer. I want to start off by saying, Heavenly Father, thank you so much for waking us up this morning. You saw it fit for us to be a part of this day. You see it fit for us to be a part of this world. Give us the necessary guidance. Give us the peace and the protection. All right, in your name we pray. Amen. All right. I'm hoping that you all are feeling like you belong here. That's really what I hope for you today, that you feel like you belong. I see that the world is shifting, and the world is shifting very rapidly. Every time I look up, there are lots of changes that's happening, and it could interfere with how you feel about yourself, how your children feel about themselves. I talk about this in therapy. I tell my therapist, as a child, you just don't have any say-so over where you live, where you go to school, a lot of times what you wear as a child. But some of you all still came out so good, you still came out opinionated, came out so many things, so many positive things. I'm very grateful for expression. When I was growing up, my grandparents were very good to me. My mother had me young. My mother had me at 15. So you may hear me reference my grandparents a lot because I spent a lot of time with them as my mother was growing, going to school, figuring things out. But my mother and I, we got really close over the years. Probably by the time I got into college, we became closer because guess what? Children got to grow too. We grow up with one mindset to only evolve, and see that our parents are just more than just our parents, that the world that we were walking in, they were walking in too. The unkindness that we thought we was experiencing alone in the world, our parents were experiencing it too. All that to say, I just really want to jump right in. It's quite a few things happening today. And I'm going to start with the update with the brother from Louisiana. Caleb Wilson. Let me give you an update on what's happening with his story right here, right now. You know my motto, don't take my word for it. You can see it for yourself. Right, you see it right here? It says the third and final suspect in the hazing death of Southern University student Caleb Wilson is now in custody. According to WAFB, Isaiah Smith, who is an Omega and a current student at Southern, turned himself in on Tuesday morning. Isaiah is the son of Todd Smith, who was leasing the warehouse where the alleged hazing incident took place. His bond was set at $25,000, and he's expected to be in front of a judge on June 2nd. As previously reported, U.S. Marshals picked up a second suspect, Kyle Thurman, Monday afternoon. Caleb McCrae, who was the first suspect arrested, bonded out of jail last Friday, and is facing the most serious charge of felony hazing and manslaughter. I want to go to this comment right here that I saw. And this comment said, it talked about brotherhood. This comment, it had about 15,000 likes on it. And it just said, it just talked about brotherhood. It talked about how you searching for brotherhood and supposed to be doing this in honor of brotherhood, only to kill a man and have him waiting and drop him off at the hospital and lie to the police about what happened. All that to say that I want you all to see how many Black men the system gets behind shortcomings. And the reason I'm putting emphasis on this is because, you know, they protect each other. White boys do things all the time, unjust, unfair, and they still want to see those white men have life afterwards. But like Black Ice said, you Black men should not be in front of a judge with 400 plus years of a grudge. They will never show a brother love. That's just number one. That means I never want us to be in front of court systems. I want us to beat the system. I don't want us playing with it. But here's the hardcore reality. It's 3 to 4 of them that's headed to prison. And one of the gentlemen that was trying to be a part of the fraternity is in the grave. Do you see how destructive it is when you meet up in the name of nonsense? This is dumb stuff. This is dumb. But I want to teach young people how to be a free thinker. I want to teach young women and men how to think for yourself, how to realize, do I want to be a part of this? Does it really matter to me this much? Do I care about the character of these people? The character of these people is telling. Anytime you take a dead body, you slowing it down because you're trying to figure out what happened, and nobody has the common sense to try to preserve life, then you're around some idiots. And this is what I've been in college, and I went to historically Black school, and I pledged all of that. So I know the lifestyle of being a college student. I know the appeal. I know the reality of it. I ain't faking. I'm not playing about it. But you do have to make a decision for yourself. Group think. If anybody can, put in the chat right now, group think. I want you to put group think in the chat, because what you will discover when you define and look up group think, it encourages and influences people to think in one group, to think alike. It discourages your own creativity, your own consciousness. So you have to be careful being in a group and people start taking away your ability to think. God may have called you to think higher than some of your peers. But if you ain't thinking higher, then you thinking just like them, it's catastrophic. It is deadly. Somebody has to be a thinker in every situation. That's why you ain't gonna find me nowhere high. I ain't high. Ain't nobody gonna get me in those situations talking about I can't remember. I can remember. I remember precisely. And I promote people being conscious about what's going on. Because when people want to, that subconscious, people don't want you to be conscious. People want you to, I'm just, I'm vibing out. I'm just chill. I'm going with the bros. And I'm going to move on really quickly. But really quickly, I'm going to move on because I want to say this really fast. And that is, there are people who care about you and want the best for you. You have to want it for yourself. And groupthink is a powerful thing. So that means that you can be in a groupthink situation. And if you weak and you a middle child and you've been told what to do your whole life, you may need to look into situations where people are thinking critically more frequently. All right, I want to move on to the next story. And this particular story is the U.S. Department of Education has decided to get rid of 1,300 employees, half of its staff. I want to share this with you right here. And I have to be done by 10 a.m. because Dr. Boyce Watkins, he goes on at 10. So I'm trying to make sure that you all see what I'm saying. If you can see this, put education in the chat. If you can see this, put education in the chat. And while you're putting education in the chat, I want to remind you all of one thing. This is brought to you by flynubianmoney.com. This is where you go to grow. This is where you go to get your mind up and your money up. Okay, this is where you go to grow. If you want to be a part of a wonderful network of women doing great things, text Queens 87948. Now, really quickly, I want to share with you the Department of Education initiated mass layoffs Tuesday night, cutting its workforce by nearly 50%. Senior officials told The Hill at 6 p.m. reduction in force. Notices were sent to 1,300 employees, leaving 2,183 staff members at the department. Affected employees will be placed on administrative leave beginning March 21st. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to finish this really quickly. Education Secretary Linda McMahon called the firing a step toward reducing bureaucratic bloat. During her confirmation, she acknowledged that while only Congress can abolish the agency, I just want you all to know that it's going to come down to your school system very soon. It's going to get down to your school system very soon because people don't want to teach anymore. The education system does not have the support that is required to successfully teach the children because parents are disengaged with their children's education. They're on social media. You got mothers headed to Miami for a new booty more than they will ever invest in their child's education. And I'm not trying to give the new booties a hard time. I'm just saying that our priorities are different. In fact, I want to share with you really quickly that Martin Luther King's father did not have an education. He was so serious about his education that he went into a middle school classroom and sat with little kids to become educated. That was Dr. King's father, serious about education. Our grandparents, even if they didn't have education, they had such a value about education. People now today feel like, and I'm one of those people that I do believe traditional education may not be the only avenue for you to be successful, and that's fine. You may not have a traditional education, but the hardcore truth is you have to be educated in something. And I'm going to be even more honest and share. I've met some of your kids. I've met the 18-year-olds and the 19-year-olds who do not value education, and they have not learned anything. They're not even strong thinkers. You put them in a situation when they need to think fast, they need to call their mama. That's the first thing they need to do. Don't get me upset. I'm trying to, stop cursing and, stop screaming. But this is a hardcore reality. Education is important. I think I heard the minister, Louis Farrakhan, he was speaking freely, and he's aging. So Minister Farrakhan is telling himself, Minister Farrakhan is telling the people, he says, hey, I may be out of here one day. And all of us, we have to leave this world. It feels wonderful for us to think about living forever, but the spirit live forever. But us, the human flesh, we must leave. And I got so excited listening to Minister Farrakhan the other day. He says, people are asking me, well, what's going, Farrakhan? Well, where you going? And what happens? He said, don't be foolish. He said, don't be foolish. And I want you to understand something too, even about this education system. Don't be foolish. God is not going anywhere. That's what Farrakhan said. He said, God is not going anywhere. Let me tell you something, man. If you are a group of people that know of the Most High, please get your children educated in the higher power so they can stop thinking that they want to be like the next Jay-Z and they can be like the next thing that they are within. All right, I want to move on because like I told you, I need to be done soon. But this is the Madam President Morning Show. We do this every single morning, Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As you all have heard, Southwest is going up on their bags. Now, this is really pissing me off, okay? I can just be honest about this.
The details. Pack all the things.
Bags Fly Free has been at the heart of Southwest Airlines. But just in time for summer, many checked bags will soon fly with a fee. Only Southwest's most elite A-list preferred flyers and those booking its priciest business select fares will get 2 free checked bags. A-list members, Southwest credit card holders, and select customers will get 1 free checked bag. Everyone else has to pay up.
We are watching an airline self-destruct.
Airline analyst Henry Hartevelt.
This is how you destroy a brand. This is how you destroy customer preference. This is how you destroy loyalty. And this, I think, is going to send Southwest into a financial tailspin.
New this morning, CBS News has learned of a big shift from Southwest Airlines. Starting May 28th, the company will start charging for some checked bags. Oh, no, that's the first time in nearly 54-year history this has happened. Chris Van Cleve has the details. Pack all the things.
Bags Fly.
All right, so one of the things that I want to share with you about Southwest is I went and got these stats myself. Southwest Airlines gross profit for 2024 was $6.1 billion, a 6.46% increase from 2023. Southwest Airlines annual gross profit for 2023 was $5.7 billion. Okay? I'm telling you this because these ideas are solely based on greed. They're charging for bags because there should be, more charges. This is a money grab. And I was looking at this, I was like, and it just really makes me think. It really makes me think. I will never forget watching this show, and this is when we're about to close out. I will never forget watching this show. This was talking about the rich and the wealthy. And they were asking one of the founders of FedEx. It says, you don't have enough money? Haven't you gotten enough? Why do you need more? And that man looked at the guy. He says, no, I don't have enough. He said, I want to go to effing Mars. This is the thought process. We have a greedy, greedy system. So all that to say, I hope you are taking care of yourself the way Southwest is taking care of it. One time I was watching a documentary, and the documentary was talking about Americans recovering, talking about all different classes, the wealthy class, the middle class, and the poor. And as they were talking about these different classes, it was the middle class that had went through a really hard hit with the real estate. And this financial guru person was on there talking about the effects of that, like what that do to people, to lose their home, to lose their cars, and all of this. And he looked at the camera and he said, the American people are very forgiving. The American people are a very forgiving people. And as he went on to say that, one of the things that I noticed 100% is we are a move on people. You kill our sons, we cry, we mourn, we bury them, and we move on. You get our daughters, we cry, we mourn, we bury them, and we move on. I would love to see the day that we stop it all. Until then, I would like to say I am Madam President with a Z, and you tune to the Madam President Morning Show. Thank you so much for being with me. Anytime you want to check out Madam President, feel free to go to madampresident.com. I am one Madam President on all social media platforms. I think Kelly just says, ladies and gentlemen, you're on, if you want to watch the Dr. Boyce Money in the morning, he starts at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Thank you, Kelly, so much. So to see my godfather, Dr. Boyce Watkins, he does Money in the morning at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Talk soon. Oh, my new book, Matters of the Heart. I'm going to drop it in the link. So before you go, check it out.